Hey, 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 what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? I got introduced to some new music. What's up, Gimme? What's up, Nike B? What's up, Muhammad? What's up, Naomi? Appreciate the follow. What's up, Kristen? What's up, Jenny World? Let's take a deep breath, Gimme. Let's take a deep breath. What's on your heart? What's up, Sport? How you doing? I'm gonna say yes, because I smiled. What's up, Fries? What's up, Super? What's up, Justir? Who you talking about? Thank you. This is Jenny. I appreciate that. What's up, Squirrely? What's up, Amy? Who knows what's getting at me, y'all? Man, that word I am has held so many different levels of understanding now. Even just saying I am, right? When my level of understanding is now that when I say I am making a contract with you. If someone asks you a question and you just say I am making a contract with you. Think about that, right? And so, right, I am, right? Yes. And so I am you, right? If a person calls you something negative, I am you. Somebody calls you something positive, I am you. And how do you do that is that you're seeing the world through their perspective and ask yourself, why do they view it that way before you cause judgment? What is it that they're seeing on the other end where they're just like, you're this set name, whether it's a beautiful name or the word beautiful itself to, something unkind. So he says, I am an empath. Yes, I am. But you identify what you see is what you see inside yourself as well. So when anybody calls me beautiful, when anybody says I'm this, I'm that, you are that as well. Because if you didn't know that, you couldn't see that. You can only say what you see. So that's how I've learned how to receive compliments. Sometimes I get a little, right, and I'm still the blushing shy guy. But yeah. So I am, and thank you all. Good morning, Beach Girl. Sticker Talk a Mystical. I've held people's hand, feel them hot, and just talking, felt them go cold. Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. Where they start to balance. You can feel the balance. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for the gifts. What's up, Oren? Appreciate the love, man. No question on value when you have prices and worthy friends like you, King. Likewise, King. Likewise. What's up, Debbie? Such a great feeling, especially in today's world. It is. We can create our own heavens. That is 100% proof. Interesting made me think I don't take compliments well. It took me a long time to try to receive a compliment. You know, like it would almost be like when I was a soldier and somebody said good job. I felt like it was a necessary compliment. And, you know, at that level, you still, you know, a little bit uncomfortable at work or what have you. But when it's something that you're just doing and somebody says something and they give you that, you know, where the person you like, you say something like, you're beautiful or you're smart or I like the way you cook, right? And those people who are like genuine, you know, don't take compliments pretty well. It's like, oh, no, you know, they're blaming on their mom. My mom taught me how to make this. Your mom could have taught the whole world to make it. They're not going to make it like you, though. So, right. And I had to start like getting in my own mind like that. Like, it's okay to be good at shit, man. Damn. It's all right. It's okay to be proud of yourself. Oh, that's the name of it. That's the name of the God Gimme. What's going on from Oregon? What's going on, Truly? What's up, Shy Girl? What's up, Sunshine? I'm good. Checking out this new music I got introduced to. It's like piano with some funk to it. Like, it's pretty dope. It's like a Korean artist named Chloe Flower. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Richard. I have to ask you. Your smile is differently. It's a good, different, new sense of joy. Good, thank you. Yeah, it's yeah. It's feels good. What's up, Sunshine? Hey, Alicia. What's up, Queen? What's up, Anthony? We were literally taught not to love ourselves because no one likes someone conceited. Excuse me. Hi, peace and love to you as well, black girl. Requeated. How do we say that word? Is it queated? It's one of those words. It just don't flow well. I heard this before. Usually I'm a little happy right now. I'm trying to cherish it. Use love. I am actually a little happy right now. Trying to cherish it. Hey, well then you're in the right place. That's what we do. We cherish love over here. We show gratitude to love. I love love. We were literally taught not to love ourselves because no one likes someone conceited. It's an interesting perspective. We were literally taught not to love ourselves because no one likes someone conceited. I definitely say there's a percentage in there that falls in that. You know, you can be raised by some people that just, right? Some people raise those type of children because they were raised that way as well. And so it's like the monkey who's pulling people down, the monkey pulling the other monkeys down off the ladder. And they don't even know how it started, but they know they can't go up the ladder. So you show one monkey to do it, and then they have the same consequences, and then you put another monkey, and then that monkey teach that other monkey don't do it. We got shocked last time we did it. Now everybody won't pull the monkey down. And so the new monkey come in, they be like, don't go up there. Then a whole group whooping on that monkey, right? So it's kind of like that as well. So, you know, sometimes we got to be able to think for ourselves, you know? Appreciate it, black girl. Well, look, let me see. Unrequited. It's unrequited, right? It's unrequited. Unrequited. Appreciate the save. What's up, Fly? It's almost as if you are fully aware of the pile of Legos on the floor. That's good. I like it. That's damn, or that's pretty fucking accurate. I ain't got to step on them no more. I see them. I see all them damn Legos. You ain't finna hurt my feet no more. I've had enough of the goddamn pain. Excuse me. Feeling special? Hey, I like that feeling. It's a lot better feeling than what you've been feeling. Yeah, let's rock with it. It is. Oh, Anthony, my room is. It legit is. Like, I actually like cleaned it up and everything. And, yeah, it's my fortress of solitude. Surround myself with my own love. This is what I consider my love, and this is, right? Focus in, right? Breathe in love, right? The things you create, the people in your life, the people who've loved you, the things that was given in gifts, things that were given of what was said to be of value. Hold on to these things. The next people in your life may not love you the same way. And it's not so much because you want to hold on to the person. You want to respect the things that they gave you, the love that they offered. They might have been scared to offer you that love. They might have loved someone that was difficult to love before you, and you encouraged them to love deeper. And so we often feel like the answer is to destroy, to get rid of that. I can assure you, it's not to destroy. It is to show those around you that even in the absence, even in the ugliest form that you might present to me, I'm going to love you because I choose to love you. And unless I allow you to hurt me, and I don't allow that no more, I'm going to love you regardless if you hear or a past memory. And when you do that, you win, right? You win. So that's how all of this is for me now from the people of my past, despite what it was, because that was me at the time in my mind trying. I was like trying to figure this shit out. And all the while, you were. That's the cool part when you get it. It's like, oh shit. You want to tell everybody, hey, we gonna be all right, y'all. Like, this all shit is fake. No, we gonna be all right. And then, how all that goes and everything. But yeah, that's how I created, if you will. I find someone extremely conceited and unattractive when I get pushed away from them. Yeah, trust your intuition. However, confidence, if different, being this person is jamming, y'all. I've never heard this music. I'm in this mud. Confidence is different than being conceited. So confidence is, when your ego death is gone, it's no longer confidence. Check this out. When a kid is doing something, they don't feel good or bad. They're just doing it. And so regardless if it's doing good or doing bad, the people around them in their environment tell them they're doing good or doing bad. A child is not rocking that confidence. They just doing shit. And there's the people like, oh, maybe we should do this with them. Maybe we should try this. You can get that level as an adult. People are like, oh, man, I wish I had your confidence. I say, pay attention. I'm shy as shit. I just like me now. Right? And so it's not so much as like the confidence. And I get that it's viewed as confidence, but I promise you, it's not confidence. Right? And so it's like, this is my story. I thought I had to shut up. Do y'all know y'all don't? And when you see that, then it comes the authenticity of it. And that's where you're just like, right? That's what I started to attract and search for. The authenticity of, shit was bad. Hey, I made some mistakes, right? And I know how to deal with my own mistakes. And so I don't fear the future. What you got? And then you rock out with your socks out. I remain loyal and respectful. It's exhausting. Do not exhaust yourself for people who are not willing. You need to take care of yourself. Remember, you got to take care of yourself. If you're on the plane, you got to take care of yourself first before you help the children, right? That's towards anything. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate the gifts. Our mutual friend Steve has finally put in his place. He says, thank you for the proper perspective. Yo, tell Steve I said, that's, man, hey, all right, Oren, I fuck with you, Oren. Tell Steve I said, that's what's up. Tell Steve I said thank you for listening. You said that's how you know it's real. First time viewing, powerful message, keep it up. Thank you, Peely the Light. Appreciate it, Pedals. You definitely have, at least. I promise you. You have come a long way. How about giant Legos? I got giant feet. I can finally fit my shoes, y'all. How about that? Appreciate it, Jose. I appreciate that. You too. Quilted. I said it right. What's the difference between conceited and narcissist? Give me 3 steps. So conceited and narcissist. First off, let's not forget we're creating words, and we're creating words so we can give definition. Once I figured how silly that was, I stopped giving things labels. I'm gonna say it again. We're creating things. We're creating labels so that we can give it definition, right? And so, could I break down narcissism? Yes. But there's so many things inside of narcissism that's close to other things that the characteristics for it. And I tell people, put yourself in a situation where the person is calling you that, right? And I'll give you the difference. I just want you to see that when you have knowledge, you have power. And so you start applying it to everybody. It get a little scary after a while. You're like, are they narcissistic? Are they narcissistic? Right? Operate by your feelings. Operate off your feelings and your intuition. Use those as research tools. Someone who's conceited shouldn't, if the people who are conceited kind of offend you, why would you feel they're conceited? Think about it. You're conceited. You're somehow making my feelings, my intuition to feel like you're conceited. Now, someone that's narcissistic show other characteristics, right? And so you can't feel someone necessarily being narcissistic. Now, they can show those characteristics, but as far as being conceited, it's something that they're doing when they're doing this thing, right? My 4-year-old son, I had a friend I was dating, we had a little girl, they had a daughter, and my son was probably like 2 years old. And she was talking about something, I don't know, she was talking about something. And my son came around and gave her the toy and like walked off like, right? And it looked like he had like all this confidence, 2 years old, and almost had this bit of conceit, like you arrogant son of a, right? And I'm just like, I haven't been around my son. Like, although he's my son, he stayed with his mom and everything. I'm just like, that was interesting. And she took the toy and she was quiet, right? As if they had their own little language, but they operate off their feelings. Does that make sense? Man, her name is Chloe Flower, y'all. Chloe Flower. Yep, I'm breaking so many toxic parenting habits. Good. Break the cycle. I love deeply, but often it's not returned. Remember, black girl, you love unexpectedly. I know a lot of people don't feel that's possible, but if you have a child, that's how you've been loving. If you have a child, that's how you've loved. Right? And so do you teach your child to love you for return? You're going to love them regardless what they do. That's your baby. Right? So when you're in a relationship, you have to ask yourself, why am I not loving with that same type of energy? I'm going to love you regardless until you identify yourself as an enemy, or to the point where you feel like that what's disturbing me and our quality of life and I can't talk to you or communicate with you effectively, then we can, we're going to have to end the relationship. But you should love like as shit. Blow their minds. Blow their goddamn minds. Why? Because you're not loving them. You're being loving to them. And the love that you give to them is so that they can love others in their lives. The people, the children, the friends, all that. Man, you've changed, dude. You got some good love, huh? What's going on with you, man? Gaining a little weight. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Right? And so, yes, it looks gorgeous when it is returned. But oftentimes you reach for a goal, but you don't give up. Hanging there. A narcissist only thinks about themselves, I feel. So once again, so here's the reason why. Okay, a narcissist. How are they a narcissist? Somebody taught the behaviors. Everything that a person does, every psychological wording for bipolar, PTSD, what's happening, you're seeing a set of actions that's falling into a word that has defined by somebody who created the word originally. Hey, this looks like a narcissist. It's a narcissist. This looks like somebody, she looks bipolar. The hell does that look like? Right? And people are like jumping onto it. Like, you don't understand. I said, I'll fight it. I'll fight it that somebody's teaching you that these things is how you identify people. When you're so loving as an individual that you can heal anybody in any situation that they're having. No different if it was a child who was born on drugs. You literally love that child and show them methods and ways so they can be healthy. If you yourself know how to love yourself, you do know how to love everyone else. Because what you do to yourself, you do to everyone else. If you have a child and you yourself is, for lack of better words, a loving person or a non-narcissistic person, right? You're going to show them non-narcissistic ways. But if you say, oh, they're going to be narcissists, or this person's a narcissist, or this person has bipolar, this person has split personality, this person has ADHD, or this person has PTSD, and then we're sitting already constantly labeling people, you have to be careful because you're causing a negative connotation in your own vibration frequency, and you're attracting that because that's what you're thinking. Imagine the power of love being in somebody's life who's been called narcissistic, and then when they get to your life, you deal with them or you love them unconditionally, right? So you don't have names for them. I mean, whatever you need, I got you, right? And so what ends up happening, they still do the things that they did in the past, and then you say, hey, I can no longer be in this relationship because of the things you're doing. But hang in there. They move on. The love you gave them, they're not going to see that for a while. So what happens is that relationship they get in, they start having those things done to them. Hang in there, it's almost finished. Then they start saying, this is not love. This is not how Anthony loved me. This is not how Oren loved me. This is not how Fly Girl loved me. And just like that, you didn't see it. Your love was for them later on in the future. And then they start self-adjusting and they start healing. Your love is healing. But we're so impatient. We feel like it's immediate. No. Love your minds out. Why do you feel like everybody feel like they're going to live tomorrow? That's not the case. And I know it's easier said than done for some people, but when you get it for the now version, when do you do it? Now. Try your best not to label the people in your life in anything negative. You're literally cursing them. Words causes damage. This allows you to form a greater connection to people, to feel whole as a man or a woman. As opposed to, hey, my mom said I ain't feeling a blank. My dad said I'm feeling a blank. My ex said I'm feeling a blank. My so and so on forth says I'm feeling a blank. Everybody's calling me this thing. I don't want to. And so you can be that man or that woman to say, I accept you as you are. But if you want to continue going through this direction that I'm trying to go in, this is what my requirements are, right? And in order for me to have this company, these are the standards and the conditions in order for me to have this company. But I'm going to love you regardless, but you're not going to hurt me. See what I'm saying? And then you teach them that skill. They learn how to do it later in life, and you're good. But don't beat yourself up because it didn't happen right then and there. That's you planting the seed in the earth, and then it's growing to be the shade that is needed for that man or that woman. When it comes to tech, I got tripped. Somebody's funny. Serious question, what should I do about my barnacle toes? I'm not even sure what that is. What's a proper healing way to get closure, or is there even such a thing? Yes, there is such a thing. You can get to the bottom of the comments. Life's getting to be real interesting when you are willing to just do you as you feel. It does. Stepping on another man's back for one's own purpose without any kind of remorse or guilt is conceited. Stepping on another man's back without purpose or guilt is What artist are you playing in the background? I love it. Once again, the name is Chloe Flower. Chloe Flower. Gorgeous. It's beautiful. I got to answer, and then we're going to start playing part 3. I think we are on Power of Now. Man, I swear, I've been blowing my nose all day, y'all. So there you go, Oren. Oren gets it. Yeah, there you go, Oren. Since we're putting characteristics in labels, how tall is a narcissist? Are they fat or skinny? That means that these people in our lives are being taught these words by view to what's good or bad. And I get that we're trying to protect each other, but teach people how to love themselves. And so those qualities, before we start labeling things, that's why children are considered having PhDs, that'd be dope, considered having ADHD. And you realize that, isn't that what you did when you was little? Didn't you run around the damn house all day long? Didn't you forget shit all around the house all day long? You probably do it now as an adult. And when you remove the labels, this goes from people who have disabilities. This goes for people who have physical issues where they're told that they can't do these things. We remove these labels and start realizing that some people are fish told to walk on water. Or walk on land, right? And you realize that they're not in an environment that's conducive for their own growth. Nipsey Hussle, one of my favorite lines. I'm a genius and I know it, but they left me no platform to explore it. That's a lot of people in the world. Oh, you don't know how to do this. You're not tall enough to do this. You're not smart enough to do this. Right? And all of this stuff is created by man. Everything's created by man. Everything. That means we can do it all. Ain't shit we can't do. And so when you get to the point where you're trying to be supportive in anybody's life, right? When I made the decision that I wanted to be a person to help anybody. Oh, that's probably what the Jesus love thing came in that. Yeah. So when I made the decision, I don't care because of, my mom went through. My mom was considered a whore, a slut, she's a bad mom because what she did to us, right? There's the labels. And the world told me I can't love her. I can't love people like that. I can't love women like that. So I was like, give me all the narcissists. Give me all the, right? Give me. But I wasn't asking for them. That's all I knew. I didn't know what else to attract. And so here I am attracting these people, and I'm loving my ass off. Just, I love you. I love you. I love you. It's like, shit, you gonna stop? But I wasn't gonna stop loving. And to the point where other values and other things in my life started to take a hit. My quality of life was started to plummet. And I'm just like, I can't, are we gonna help? You can keep hitting me, I don't care, but can you help at the same time? No? All right. I can't do this then. And that's how I started to get, my experience. Before that, everybody was looking at me like I was naive. I'm like, I'm not. I know what she's doing. But I feel like my whole reason for sticking it out because I don't think anybody else is going to deal with that. And it's not because I want to be in the pain. It's because of one thing. My one focus is I want to fucking love you. That's it. I didn't have rules. Unconditional love. And when you as a person are speaking that type of love, everybody looks at you as a fool. Like, man, she playing you. You know he playing you. You know they playing you. And you're like, I'm just loving them. I'm just loving them. When you start protecting yourself, you start realizing you're supposed to say stuff like, why are you not being loving? Not Why are you not loving me the way no, scratch all that. Why are you not being loving? I know what love is. You thought I didn't know what love is, but I know what love is because I know how to love you. You don't seem to be complaining. Well, you are complaining. Okay, I want to end this relationship. I don't want you unhappy. Oh, you want to be together. So what is it? You see what I did there? Oh, you got complaints. Well, then let's end it. Oh, you don't want to leave. Well, let's talk about it. Oh, you don't want to talk about it. You want to talk about it later. No, I deal with my problems now. I don't plan for problems later. You pretend we're going to live tomorrow. And when I started getting like that, woo, pressure. It was crazy. I couldn't believe what was happening. I thought I was tripping. Then it started making sense. I started protecting my feelings. I didn't know that my feelings could be right, regardless if you liked them or not. It's beside the point. Right? My child is upset about something. I cannot care. I don't care. But they're still upset. That doesn't make them not upset. And so I can go over there and show the concern towards their emotions. So when I see people feeling different in a relationship, I'm going over there to show the emotion. And so the natural reaction for the person, the adult, is to get out my face or whatever. And so like, I feel bad now. But they're no different than that child who was left alone to deal with their emotions. So instead of saying, let's talk about it, they start projecting and start being hateful and start attacking and those things because they're just trying to get attention. Long story short, most people who are abusive need nothing but some straight up love. I'm not lying. You put all the toxic people in the corner if you want to, whatever that means, then what? And so they end up destroying themselves. We're that mad about humanity? What are they going to do, have children? Create more? Right? When do we stop pointing fingers? And so that's when my brain was just like, man, let's love everybody. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see how that feels. All right, y'all, we're about to get started, and I'll talk to y'all through the text. I want to make sure. God dang it. If my son wasn't shy, I would ask him. I said, do I not act like this every day? And he does his face, he's just like, he looks like me. He's light skinned. He looks just like me. He's just light skinned. Well, he looks more, yeah, you'll see him. He'd just be like, I said, do I not go to bed? And I'll be happy as shit. He said, I wake up ready to talk like a kid, huh? He'd be like, when I realized that this was like every day of my life, hey, like nonstop. And so that's when I hit with the concept of regardless of the day, I'm going to shine. You get to call me the sun, right? I realize how powerful you are when I realize that people are hurting infants and they're not dying the very next second. I don't get that. And so then I had the epiphany of, does God whoop the sun when the right side of California gets burned down? He don't. And so these bad people are not getting punished. Their time and how they live their lives, some people are intelligent enough to learn how to construct harm. This is why we do the things we do to have value of labeling, all this other stuff. But when you're being creative, it's always for love. You as a person is a conduit for it. Regardless if pretend you couldn't talk. You could feel that energy. You could feel the malicious intentions. You could feel the purity of love for those who have children, for those who have, let's say, a missing grandmother or somebody that you used to go to in your darkest hour. That is felt and it is sent as a shock wave at that very moment. And it connects, man, it connects in a way of time. If you can see that, there's nobody you couldn't love. Because if they can love you in absence and you have that feeling in a physical sense, and you think about your grandmother, you think about your child, you think about that gorgeous, gorgeous, that successful moment that day we meditated, and I was trying to get you, I don't know if it was in there. That day we meditated, was trying to get that visual. You literally become that person, and you can stay there every single freaking moment. And the first time I felt it, I counted the days. And I went 71 days. I was like taking notes. Like I was really I was like, man, what is going on? It's been, 2 years now. That's why I have the confidence, as you see, or the comfort. And it's actually a comfort to discuss this type of love. You see what I'm saying? To know that if you have problems in your life, you can literally like get rid of them just with a thought. This is what Eckhart Tolle was talking about in The Power of Now. But we're using the word now, and you can make it God, you can make it love, you can make it what you want, as long as you remember that your past and your present doesn't have to affect your now. In the most arduous moments, you could be in the center of war, you could be the warrior in the garden, and switch on your emotions at any given time, no different than that child who's leaving stuff all over the place. As an adult right now, I start to see and sense more happiness, to the point where my friend was looking at me like, I wish I was that goddamn happy. I'm like, you make me feel like I'm high. She was like, no, like, and the way she said it was like it was like a thank you. It was like I'm proud of you. It was like whatever you're doing, kid, keep doing it. Remember, for me, my vision just starting this journey was 1 or 2 people. And now it's everybody. But it's not because it was more than one. It was everybody with the one. I didn't understand it. And so now that love is consistent. When we are being loving that way, that manifestation, the things that is coming through, the stuff that's happening to me, Alicia, when she speaks about how Oren, all these people, Miss Nessa, all these people, I want y'all to know that this is literally something y'all all manifested. This love, I'm hoping or praying or, like hoping or meditating that y'all really are finding this love within yourself. The last time we got off the live, I said, I want to manifest that. I wasn't trying to be cool. Like I'm hoping y'all are making that a mantra inside your minds. Because if you can love yourself to that level, oh man, you'll never have a problem. You'll never, any situation, any issue, you fill in the blank. And every day is a magical moment. Every day is a blessing. Every day is this thing, and you are unstoppable. You don't see death. You really are unstoppable. Now, I'll end it like this and press play. There are people who take that energy once again, and they can use you. You can use it for bad. You really can. You can be the devil if you wanted to. That I understand, and I'm no fool about it no more. I know there are people who will cause harm, and they're teaching it because it does have an outcome for them. And some people are not afraid of those circumstances. But I am confident beyond my imagination that those who believe in love, that's why you only need the faith of a mustard seed, can break through all of that. But you cannot have fear. I know I ain't joking with you. But yeah, that's been kind of on my heart. Excuse me. Someone gonna love my ex. He needs it. My son doesn't talk, so this is good for me to listen to. Good. Appreciate it, Anthony. Thank you, Miss Ness. Appreciate the share. You're telling the truth. Abusive people just need a greater love. They have never felt before. Correct. If a person is abusive, just tell your brain you were taught that. Read the psychopath books. Read the killer books. I did my degrees for psychology, led me down beautiful corners. And I'm just like, why do people do this? Like, Like, what's happening? There's things that's happening that's triggering inside their mind in certain fashions that is awakening, right? Awakening certain things inside of it, and they're doing it in response to stimuli received from the world. I'm telling you from my experience of receiving all the damage that y'all know about inside my life, it has created a different reaction to the world. And there are people who actually receive that much trauma psychologically and physically, where their DNA changes, the way that their skin, their bone structure. There's things about me that I started to realize more and more. I have a bone deformity. I didn't know I had bone deformity, but it's little things like that where I was like, oh, what's going on? Am I special? Am I not special? It's real. Everybody's a superhero, like all that stuff. There's CIA documents coming out. When I saw that there are no mental issues, there's not one single mental issue in this world. That it's someone saying arrogantly that how you think and how you see the world is not incongruent with the rest of society. So I have to label you fill in the blank. Please see that. Because of how you think and because of how you see things, because of how you do things, although you're not hurting no one else, although you're not hurting yourself, I have to label you this because you're socially unaccepted. You look like this, you talk like this, you walk like this, you fill in the blank. And so that's where that, right? People who do not get that type of love, that's abusive. And so now they get into the world or they, get to a relationship and they don't know how to be because somebody said you're fill in the blank. And now they're walking around, hi, my name is, and I am a such and such. I'm like, I just wanted to know if you wanted coffee. So yes, abusive people they just need love. How do I add friends to this? You're preaching life. Get off my lawn. Thank you. Just the share button, I think. Oh, you can tap the screen. They say tapping the screen, I guess, puts it on the FYP. And, of course, your friends in the share list. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Chloe Flower is the name. All right, here we go. Ready? We're going to go an hour.
Consciousness often means that the pain body has been triggered and that you've become identified with it.
Any questions or anything? Any questions or anything, I'll hit you up in here and I'll keep my silence for those who want to listen to the book. For those who are new to joining, thank you for joining. I do one-on-ones through Fiverr.com. Merch. Don't forget to ring the bell for when we go live. We are recording, right? So it's the idea that y'all gave me a while ago. I'm listening, so it's working, and it's brick by brick, and I love it. Brick by brick, and I fucking love it. All right, here we go.
Physical violence would be impossible without deep unconsciousness. It can also occur easily whenever and wherever a crowd of people or even an entire nation generates a negative collective energy field. The best indicator of your level of consciousness is how you deal with life's challenges when they come. Through those challenges, an already unconscious person tends to become more deeply unconscious, and a conscious person more intensely conscious. You can use a challenge to awaken you, or you can allow it to pull you into even deeper sleep. The dream of ordinary unconsciousness then turns into a nightmare. If you cannot be present even in normal circumstances, such as when you are sitting alone in a room, walking in the woods, or listening to someone, then you certainly won't be able to stay conscious when something goes wrong, or you're faced with difficult people or situations, with loss or the threat of loss. You will be taken over by a reaction, which ultimately is always some form of fear, and pulled into deep unconsciousness. Those challenges are your tests. Only the way in which you deal with them will show you and others where you are at as far as your state of consciousness is concerned, not how long you can sit with your eyes closed or what visions you see. So it is essential to bring more consciousness into your life in ordinary situations when everything is going relatively smoothly. In this way, you grow in presence power. It generates an energy field in you and around you of a high vibrational frequency. No unconsciousness, no negativity, no discord or violence can enter that field and survive, just as darkness cannot survive in the presence of light. When you learn to be the witness of your thoughts and emotions, which is an essential part of being present, you may be surprised when you first become aware of the background static of ordinary unconsciousness and realize how rarely, if ever, you are truly at ease within yourself. On the level of your thinking, you will find a great deal of resistance in the form of judgment, discontent, and mental projection away from the now. On the emotional level, there will be an undercurrent of unease, tension, boredom, or nervousness. Both are aspects of the mind in its habitual resistance mode. Carl Jung tells in one of his books of a conversation he had with a Native American chief, who pointed out to him that in his perception, most white people have tense faces, staring eyes, and a cruel demeanor. He said, "They are always seeking something. What are they seeking? The whites always want something. They are always uneasy and restless. We don't know what they want. We think they are mad." The undercurrent of constant unease started long before the rise of Western industrial civilization, of course. But in Western civilization, which now covers almost the entire globe, including most of the East, it manifests in an unprecedentedly acute form. It was already there at the time of Jesus, and it was there 600 years before that at the time of Buddha, and long before that. "Why are you always anxious?" Jesus asked his disciples. "Can anxious thought add a single day to your life?" And the Buddha taught that the root of suffering is to be found in our constant wanting and craving. Resistance to the now as a collective dysfunction is intrinsically connected to loss of awareness of being and forms the basis of our dehumanized industrial civilization. Freud, by the way, also recognized the existence of this undercurrent of unease and wrote about it in his book Civilization and Its Discontents. But he did not recognize the true root of the unease and failed to realize that freedom from it is possible. This collective dysfunction has created a very unhappy and extraordinarily violent civilization that has become a threat not only to itself, but also to all life on the planet.
So how can we be free of this affliction?
Make it conscious. Observe the many ways in which unease, discontent, and tension arise within you through unnecessary judgment, resistance to what is, and denial of the now. Anything unconscious dissolves when you shine the light of consciousness on it. Once you know how to dissolve ordinary unconsciousness, the light of your presence will shine brightly, and it will be much easier to deal with deep unconsciousness whenever you feel its gravitational pull. However, ordinary unconsciousness may not be easy to detect initially because it is so normal. Make it a habit to monitor your mental-emotional state through self-observation. Am I at ease at this moment? Is a good question to ask yourself frequently. Or you can ask, what's going on inside me at this moment? Be at least as interested in what goes on inside you as what happens outside. If you get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. Primary reality is within, secondary reality without. But don't answer these questions immediately. Direct your attention inward. Have a look inside yourself. What kind of thoughts is your mind producing? What do you feel? Direct your attention into the body. Is there any tension? Once you detect that there's a low level of unease, the background static, see in what way you're avoiding, resisting, or denying life by denying the now. There are many ways in which people unconsciously resist the present moment. I will give you a few examples. With practice, your powers of self-observation, of monitoring your inner state, will become sharpened. Do you resent doing what you're doing? It may be your job, or you may have agreed to do something and are doing it, but part of you resents and resists it. Are you carrying unspoken resentment towards the person close to you? Do you realize that the energy you thus emanate is so harmful in its effects that you are in fact contaminating yourself as well as those around you? Have a good look inside. Is there even the slightest trace of resentment, unwillingness? If there is, observe it on both the mental and the emotional levels. What thoughts is your mind creating around this situation? Then look at the emotion, which is the body's reaction to those thoughts. Feel the emotion. Does it feel pleasant or unpleasant? Is it an energy that you would actually choose to have inside you? Do you have a choice? Maybe you are being taken advantage of. Maybe the activity you are engaged in is tedious. Maybe someone close to you is dishonest, irritating, or unconscious. But all this is irrelevant. Whether your thoughts and emotions about this situation are justified or not makes no difference. The fact is that you're resisting what is. You're making the present moment into an enemy. You're creating unhappiness, conflict between the inner and the outer. Your unhappiness is polluting not only your own inner being and those around you, but also the collective human psyche of which you are an inseparable part. The pollution of the planet is only an outward reflection of an inner psychic pollution. Millions of unconscious individuals not taking responsibility for their inner space. Either stop doing what you are doing, speak to the person concerned and express fully what you feel, or drop the negativity that your mind has created around the situation and that serves no purpose whatsoever except to strengthen a false sense of self. Recognizing its futility is important. Negativity is never the optimum way of dealing with any situation. In fact, in most cases it keeps you stuck in it, blocking real change. Anything that is done with negative energy will become contaminated by it, and in time give rise to more pain, more unhappiness. Furthermore, any negative inner state is contagious. Unhappiness spreads more easily than a physical disease. Through the law of resonance, it triggers and feeds latent negativity in others, unless they are immune, that is, highly conscious. Are you polluting the world or cleaning up the mess? You are responsible for your inner space. Nobody else is, just as you are responsible for the planet. As within, so without. If humans clear inner pollution, then they will also cease to create outer pollution.
How can we drop negativity as you suggest?
By dropping it. How do you drop a piece of hot coal that you are holding in your hand? How do you drop some heavy and useless baggage that you are carrying? By recognizing that you don't want to suffer the pain or carry the burden anymore and then letting go of it. Deep unconsciousness, such as the pain body, or other deep pain, such as the loss of a loved one, usually needs to be transmuted through acceptance, combined with the light of your presence, your sustained attention. Many patterns in ordinary unconsciousness, on the other hand, can simply be dropped once you know that you don't want them and don't need them anymore, once you realize that you have a choice, that you are not just a bundle of conditioned reflexes. All this implies that you are able to access the power of now. Without it, you have no choice.
If you call some emotions negative, aren't you creating a mental polarity of good and bad, as you explained earlier?
No. The polarity was created at an earlier stage when your mind judged the present moment as bad.
We just talked
This
about
judgment then created the negative emotion.
But if you call some emotions negative, aren't you really saying that they shouldn't be there? That it's not okay to have those emotions? My understanding is that we should give ourselves permission to have whatever feelings come up, rather than judge them as bad or say that we shouldn't have them. It's okay to feel resentful. It's okay to be angry, irritated, moody, or whatever. Otherwise, we get into repression, inner conflict, or denial. Everything is okay as it is.
Of course, once a mind pattern, an emotion or a reaction is there, accept it. You are not conscious enough to have a choice in the matter. That's not a judgment, just a fact. If you had a choice, or realized that you do have a choice, would you choose suffering or joy, ease or unease, peace or conflict? Would you choose a thought or feeling that cuts you off from your natural state of well-being, the joy of life within? Any such feeling I call negative, which simply means bad, not in the sense that you shouldn't have done that, but just plain factual bad, like feeling sick in the stomach. How is it possible that humans killed in excess of 100 million fellow humans in the 20th century alone? Humans inflicting pain of such magnitude on one another is beyond anything you can imagine. And that's not taking into account the mental, emotional, and physical violence, the torture, pain, and cruelty they continue to inflict on each other, as well as on other sentient beings on a daily basis. Do they act in this way because they're in touch with their natural state, the joy of life within? Of course not. Only people who are in a deeply negative state, who feel very bad indeed, would create such a reality as a reflection of how they feel. Now they are engaged in destroying nature and the planet that sustains them. Unbelievable, but true. Humans are a dangerously insane and very sick species. That's not a judgment, it's a fact. It is also a fact that the sanity is there underneath the madness. Healing and redemption are available right now. Coming back specifically to what you said, it is certainly true that when you accept your resentment, moodiness, anger, and so on, you are no longer forced to act them out blindly, and you are less likely to project them onto others. But I wonder if you're not deceiving yourself. When you have been practicing acceptance for a while, as you have, there comes a point when you need to go on to the next stage, where those negative emotions are not created anymore. If you don't, your acceptance just becomes a mental label that allows your ego to continue to indulge in unhappiness and so strengthen its sense of separation from other people, your surroundings, your here and now. As you know, separation is the basis for the ego's sense of identity. True acceptance would transmute those feelings at once. And if you really knew deeply that everything is okay, as you put it, and which of course is true, then would you have those negative feelings in the first place? Without judgment, without resistance to what is, they would not arise. You have an idea in your mind that everything is okay, but deep down you don't really believe it, and so the old mental-emotional patterns of resistance are still in place. That's what makes you feel bad.
That's okay too.
Are you defending your right to be unconscious, your right to suffer? Don't worry, nobody's going to take that away from you. Once you realize that a certain kind of food makes you sick, would you carry on eating that food and keep asserting that it is okay to be sick?
Can you give me some more examples of ordinary unconsciousness?
See if you can catch yourself complaining, in either speech or thought, about a situation you find yourself in, what other people do or say, your surroundings, your life situation, even the weather. To complain is always non-acceptance of what is. It invariably carries an unconscious negative charge. When you complain, you make yourself into a victim. When you speak out, you are in your power. So change the situation by taking action or by speaking out if necessary or possible. Leave the situation or accept it. All else is madness. Ordinary unconsciousness is always linked in some way with denial of the now. The now, of course, also implies the here. Are you resisting your here and now? Some people would always rather be somewhere else. Their here is never good enough. Through self-observation, find out if that is the case in your life. Wherever you are, be there totally. If you find your here and now intolerable and it makes you unhappy, you have 3 options. Remove yourself from the situation, change it, or accept it totally. If you want to take responsibility for your life, you must choose one of those 3 options, and you must choose now. Then accept the consequences. No excuses, no negativity, no psychic pollution. Keep your inner space clear. If you take any action, leaving or changing your situation, drop the negativity first, if at all possible. Action arising out of insight into what is required is more effective than action arising out of negativity. Any action is often better than no action, especially if you have been stuck in an unhappy situation for a long time. If it is a mistake, at least you learn something, in which case it's no longer a mistake. If you remain stuck, you learn nothing. Is fear preventing you from taking action? Acknowledge the fear, watch it, take your attention into it, be fully present with it. Doing so cuts the link between the fear and your thinking. Don't let the fear rise up into your mind. Use the power of the now. Fear cannot prevail against it. If there's truly nothing that you can do to change your here and now, and you can't remove yourself from the situation, then accept your here and now totally by dropping all inner resistance. The false, unhappy self that loves feeling miserable, resentful, or sorry for itself can then no longer survive. This is called surrender. Surrender is not weakness. There's great strength in it. Only a surrendered person has spiritual power. Through surrender, you will be free internally of the situation. You may then find that the situation changes without any effort on your part. In any case, you are free. Or is there something that you should be doing but are not doing it? Get up and do it now. Alternatively, completely accept your inactivity, laziness, or passivity at this moment, if that is your choice. Go into it fully. Enjoy it. Be as lazy or inactive as you can. If you go into it fully and consciously, you will soon come out of it. Or maybe you won't. Either way, there's no inner conflict, no resistance, no negativity. Are you stressed? Are you so busy getting to the future that the present is reduced to a means of getting there? Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there, or being in the present, but wanting to be in the future. It's a split that tears you apart inside. To create and live with such an inner split is insane. The fact that everyone else is doing it doesn't make it any less insane. If you have to, you can move fast, work fast, or even run, without projecting yourself into the future and without resisting the present. As you move, work, run, do it totally. Enjoy the flow of energy, the high energy of that moment. Now you are no longer stressed. no longer splitting yourself in two, just moving, running, working, and enjoying it. Or you can drop the whole thing and sit on a park bench. But when you do, watch your mind. It may say, "You should be working. You're wasting time." Observe the mind. Smile at it. Does the past take up a great deal of your attention? Do you frequently talk and think about it, either positively or negatively? The great things that you have achieved, your adventures or experiences, or your victim story and the dreadful things that were done to you, or maybe what you did to someone else? Are your thought processes creating guilt, pride, resentment, anger, regret, or self-pity? Then you are not only reinforcing a false sense of self, but are also helping to accelerate your body's aging process by creating an accumulation of past in your psyche. Verify this for yourself by observing those around you who have a strong tendency to hold on to the past. Die to the past every moment. You don't need it. Only refer to it when it is absolutely relevant to the present. Feel the power of this moment and the fullness of being. Feel your presence. Are you worried? Do you have many what-if thoughts? You are identified with your mind, which is projecting itself into an imaginary future situation and creating fear. There's no way that you can cope with such a situation because it doesn't exist. It's a mental phantom. You can stop this health and life-corroding insanity simply by acknowledging the present moment. Become aware of your breathing. Feel the air flowing in and out of your body. Feel your inner energy field. All that you ever have to deal with, cope with, in real life, as opposed to imaginary mind projections, is this moment. Ask yourself what problem you have right now, not next year, tomorrow, or 5 minutes from now. What is wrong with this moment? You can always cope with the now, but you can never cope with the future, nor do you have to. The answer, the strength, the right action or the resource will be there when you need it, not before, not after. One day I'll make it. Is your goal taking up so much of your attention that you reduce the present moment to a means to an end? Is it taking the joy out of your doing? Are you waiting to start living? If you develop such a mind pattern, no matter what you achieve or get, the present will never be good enough. The future will always seem better. A perfect recipe for permanent dissatisfaction and non-fulfillment, don't you agree? Are you a habitual waiter? How much of your life do you spend waiting? What I call small-scale waiting is waiting in line at the post office, in a traffic jam, at the airport, or waiting for someone to arrive, to finish work, and so on. Large-scale waiting is waiting for the next vacation, for a better job, for the children to grow up, for a truly meaningful relationship, for success, to make money, to be important, to become enlightened. It is not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. Waiting is a state of mind. Basically, it means that you want the future. You don't want the present. You don't want what you've got, and you want what you haven't got. With every kind of waiting, you unconsciously create inner conflict between your here and now, where you don't want to be, and the projected future, where you want to be. This greatly reduces the quality of your life by making you lose the present. There's nothing wrong with striving to improve your life situation. You can improve your life situation, but you cannot improve your life. Life is primary. Life is your deepest inner being. It is already whole, complete, perfect. Your life situation consists of your circumstances and your experiences. There's nothing wrong with setting goals and striving to achieve things. The mistake lies in using it as a substitute for the feeling of life, for being. The only point of access for that is the now. You are then like an architect who pays no attention to the foundation of a building, but spends a lot of time working on the superstructure. For example, many people are waiting for prosperity. It cannot come in the future. When you honor, acknowledge, and fully accept your present reality, where you are, who you are, what you are doing right now, when you fully accept what you have got, you are grateful for what you have got, grateful for what is, grateful for being. Gratitude for the present moment and the fullness of life now is true prosperity. It cannot come in the future. Then, in time, that prosperity manifests for you in various ways. If you are dissatisfied with what you've got, or even frustrated or angry about your present lack, that may motivate you to become rich. But even if you do make millions, you will continue to experience the inner condition of lack. And deep down, you will continue to feel unfulfilled. You may have many exciting experiences that money can buy, but they will come and go and always leave you with an empty feeling and the need for further physical or psychological gratification. You won't abide in being and so feel the fullness of life now that alone is true prosperity. So give up waiting as a state of mind. When you catch yourself slipping into waiting, snap out of it. Come into the present moment. Just be and enjoy being. If you are present, there's never any need for you to wait for anything. So next time somebody says, "Sorry to have kept you waiting," you can reply, "That's all right, I wasn't waiting. I was just standing here enjoying myself." Enjoy in myself.
Enjoy.
These are just a few of the habitual mind strategies for denying the present moment that are part of ordinary unconsciousness. They are easy to overlook because they are so much a part of normal living, the background static of perpetual discontent. But the more you practice monitoring your inner mental-emotional state, the easier it will be to know when you've been trapped in past or future, which is to say, unconscious, and to awaken out of the dream of time into the present. But beware, the false unhappy self, based on mind identification, lives on time. It knows that the present moment is its own death, and so it feels very threatened by it. It will do all it can to take you out of it. It will try to keep you trapped in time.
I can see the truth of what you are saying, but I still think that we must have purpose in our life's journey. Otherwise, we just drift. And purpose means future, doesn't it? How do we reconcile that with living in the present?
When you're on a journey, it is certainly helpful to know where you're going, or at least the general direction in which you're moving. But don't forget, the only thing that is ultimately real about your journey is the step that you're taking at this moment. That's all there ever is. Your life's journey has an outer purpose and an inner purpose. The outer purpose is to arrive at your goal or destination, to accomplish what you set out to do, to achieve this or that, which of course implies future. But if your destination, or the steps you're going to take in the future, take up so much of your attention that they become more important to you than the step you're taking now, then you completely miss the journey's inner purpose, which has nothing to do with where you are going or what you are doing, but everything to do with how. It has nothing to do with future, but everything to do with the quality of your consciousness at this moment. The outer purpose belongs to the horizontal dimension of space and time. The inner purpose concerns a deepening of your being in the vertical dimension of the timeless now. Your outer journey may contain 1,000,000 steps. Your inner journey only has one, the step you're taking right now. As you become more deeply aware of this one step, you realize that it already contains within itself all the other steps as well as the destination. This one step then becomes transformed into an expression of perfection, an act of great beauty and quality. It will have taken you into being, and the light of being will shine through it. This is both the purpose and the fulfillment of your inner journey, the journey into yourself.
Does it matter whether we achieve our outer purpose, whether we succeed or fail in the world?
It will matter to you as long as you haven't realized your inner purpose. After that, the outer purpose is just a game that you may continue to play simply because you enjoy it. It is also possible to fail completely in your outer purpose and at the same time totally succeed in your inner purpose. Or the other way around, which is actually more common: outer riches and inner poverty, or to gain the world and lose your soul, as Jesus puts it. Ultimately, of course, every outer purpose is doomed to fail sooner or later, simply because it is subject to the law of impermanence of all things. The sooner you realize that your outer purpose cannot give you lasting fulfillment, the better. When you have seen the limitations of your outer purpose, you give up your unrealistic expectation that it should make you happy, and you make it subservient to your inner purpose.
You mentioned that thinking or talking about the past unnecessarily is one of the ways in which we avoid the present. But apart from the past that we remember and perhaps identify with, isn't there another level of past within us that is much more deep-seated? I'm talking about the unconscious past that conditions our lives, especially through early childhood experiences, perhaps even past life experiences. And then there is our cultural conditioning, which has to do with where we live geographically and the historic time period in which we live. All these things determine how we see the world, how we react, what we think, what kind of relationships we have, how we live our lives. How could we ever become conscious of all that or get rid of it? How long would that take? And even if we did, what would there be left?
What is left when illusion ends? There is no need to investigate the unconscious past in you except as it manifests at this moment as a thought, an emotion, a desire, a reaction, or an external event that happens to you. Whatever you need to know about the unconscious past in you, the challenges of the present will bring it out. If you delve into the past, it will become a bottomless pit. There's always more. You may think that you need more time to understand the past or become free of it. In other words, that the future will eventually free you of the past. This is a delusion. Only the present can free you of the past. More time cannot free you of time. Access the power of now. That is the key.
What is the power of now?
None other than the power of your presence, your consciousness liberated from thought forms. So, deal with the past on the level of the present. The more attention you give to the past, the more you energize it, and the more likely you are to make a self out of it. Don't misunderstand. Attention is essential, but not to the past as past. Give attention to the present. Give attention to your behavior, to your reactions, moods, thoughts, emotions, fears, and desires as they occur in the present. There's the past in you. If you can be present enough to watch all those things, not critically or analytically but non-judgmentally, then you are dealing with the past and dissolving it through the power of your presence. You cannot find yourself by going into the past. You find yourself by coming into the present.
Isn't it helpful to understand the past and so understand why we do certain things, react in certain ways, or why we unconsciously create our particular kind of drama, patterns in relationships, and so on?
As you become more conscious of your present reality, you may suddenly get certain insights as to why your conditioning functions in those particular ways. For example, why your relationships follow certain patterns, and you may remember things that happened in the past or see them more clearly. That is fine and can be helpful, but it is not essential. What is essential is your conscious presence. That dissolves the past. That is the transformative agent. So don't seek to understand the past, but be as present as you can. The past cannot survive in your presence. It can only survive in your absence.
Chapter 5. The State of Presence.
You keep talking about the state of presence as the key. I think I understand it intellectually, but I don't know if I have ever truly experienced it. I wonder, is it what I think it is, or is it something entirely different?
It's not what you think it is. You can't think about presence, and the mind can't understand it. Understanding presence is being present. Try a little experiment. Close your eyes and say to yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. Then become very alert and wait for the next thought. Be like a cat watching a mouse hole. What thought is going to come out of the mouse hole? Try it now. Well?
I had to wait for quite a long time before a thought came in.
Exactly. As long as you're in a state of intense presence, you're free of thought. You're still, yet highly alert. The instant your conscious attention sinks below a certain level, thought rushes in. The mental noise returns. The stillness is lost. You're back in time. To test their degree of presence, some Zen masters have been known to creep up on their students from behind and suddenly hit them with a stick. Quite a shock. If the student had been fully present and in a state of alertness, if he had kept his loin girded and his lamp burning, which is one of the analogies that Jesus uses for presence, he would have noticed the master coming up from behind and stopped him or stepped aside. But if he were hit, that would mean he was immersed in thought, which is to say absent, unconscious. To stay present in everyday life, it helps to be deeply rooted within yourself. Otherwise, the mind, which has incredible momentum, will drag you along like a wild river.
What do you mean by rooted within yourself?
It means to inhabit your body fully, to always have some of your attention in the inner energy field of your body, to feel the body from within, so to speak. Body awareness keeps you present. It anchors you in the now. In a sense, the state of presence could be compared to waiting. Jesus used the analogy of waiting in some of his parables. This is not the usual bored or restless kind of waiting that is a denial of the present and that I spoke about already. It is not a waiting in which your attention is focused on some point in the future and the present is perceived as an undesirable obstacle that prevents you from having what you want. There is a qualitatively different kind of waiting, one that requires your total alertness, Something could happen at any moment, and if you're not absolutely awake, absolutely still, you will miss it. This is the kind of waiting Jesus talks about. In that state, all your attention is in the now. There's none left for daydreaming, thinking, remembering, anticipating. There's no tension in it, no fear, just alert presence. You are present with your whole being, with every cell of your body. In that state, the you that has a past and a future, the personality if you like, is hardly there anymore. And yet nothing of value is lost. You are still essentially yourself. In fact, you are more fully yourself than you ever were before. Or rather, it is only now that you are truly yourself. Be like a servant waiting for the return of the master, says Jesus. The servant does not know at what hour the master is going to come. So he stays awake, alert, poised, still, lest he miss the master's arrival. In another parable, Jesus speaks of the 5 careless, unconscious women who do not have enough oil, consciousness, to keep their lamps burning, stay present, and so miss the bridegroom, the now, and don't get to the wedding feast, enlightenment. These 5 stand in contrast to the 5 wise women who have enough oil, that is, stay conscious. Even the men who wrote the Gospels did not understand the meaning of these parables, so the first misinterpretations and distortions crept in as they were written down. With subsequent erroneous interpretations, the real meaning was completely lost. These are parables not about the end of the world, but about the end of psychological time. They point to the transcendence of the egoic mind and the possibility of living in an entirely new state of consciousness.
What you have just described is something that I occasionally experience for brief moments when I am alone and surrounded by nature.
Yes, Zen masters use the word satori to describe a flash of insight, a moment of no mind and total presence. Although satori is not a lasting transformation, be grateful when it comes, for it gives you a taste of enlightenment. You may indeed have experienced it many times without knowing what it is and realizing its importance. Presence is needed to become aware of the beauty, the majesty, the sacredness of nature. Have you ever gazed up into the infinity of space on a clear night, awestruck by the absolute stillness and inconceivable vastness of it? Have you listened, truly listened, to the sound of a mountain stream in the forest, or the song of a blackbird at dusk on a quiet summer evening? To become aware of such things, the mind needs to be still. You have to put down for a moment your personal baggage of problems, of past and future, as well as all your knowledge. Otherwise, you will see but not see, hear but not hear. Your total presence is required. Beyond the beauty of the external forms, there's more here. Something that cannot be named. Something ineffable. Some deep inner holy essence. Whenever and wherever there's beauty, this inner essence shines through somehow. It only reveals itself to you when you are present. Could it be that this nameless essence and your presence are one and the same? Would it be there without your presence? Go deeply into it. Find out for yourself. When you experienced those moments of presence, you likely didn't realize that you were briefly in a state of no mind. This is because the gap between that state and the influx of thought was too narrow. Your satori may only have lasted for a few seconds before the mind came in, but it was there. Otherwise, you would not have experienced the beauty. mind can neither recognize nor create beauty. Only for a few seconds, while you were completely present, was that beauty or that sacredness there. Because of the narrowness of that gap and a lack of vigilance and alertness on your part, you were probably unable to see the fundamental difference between the perception, the thoughtless awareness of beauty, and the naming and interpreting of it as thought. The time gap was so small that it seemed to be a single process. The truth is, however, that the moment thought came in, all you had was a memory of it. The wider the time gap between perception and thought, the more depth there's to you as a human being, which is to say, the more conscious you are. Many people are so imprisoned in their minds that the beauty of nature does not really exist for them. They might say, "What a pretty flower," but that's just a mechanical mental labeling. Because they are not still, not present, they don't truly see the flower, don't feel its essence, its holiness, just as they don't know themselves, don't feel their own essence, their own holiness. Because we live in such a mind-dominated culture, most modern art, architecture, music, and literature are devoid of beauty, of inner essence, with very few exceptions. The reason is that the people who create those things cannot, even for a moment, free themselves from their mind. So they are never in touch with that place within where true creativity and beauty arise. The mind left to itself creates monstrosities, and not only in art galleries. Look at our urban landscapes and industrial wastelands. No civilization has ever produced so much ugliness.
Is presence the same as being?
When you become conscious of being, what is really happening is that being becomes conscious of itself. When being becomes conscious of itself, that's presence. Since being, consciousness, and life are synonymous, we could say that presence means consciousness becoming conscious of itself, or life attaining self-consciousness. But don't get attached to the words and don't make an effort to understand this. There's nothing that you need to understand before you can become present.
I do understand what you just said, but it seems to imply that being, the ultimate transcendental reality, is not yet complete, that it is undergoing a process of development. Does God need time for personal growth?
Yes, but only seen from the limited perspective of the manifested universe. In the Bible, God declares, "I am the Alpha and the Omega, and I am the living one." In the timeless realm where God dwells, which is also your home, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, are one, and the essence of everything that ever has been and ever will be is eternally present in an unmanifested state of oneness and perfection, totally beyond anything the human mind can ever imagine or comprehend. In our world of seemingly separate forms, however, timeless perfection is an inconceivable concept. Here, even consciousness, which is the light emanating from the eternal source, seems to be subject to a process of development, but this is due to our limited perception. It is not so in absolute terms. Nevertheless, let me continue to speak for a moment about the evolution of consciousness in this world. Everything that exists has being, has God essence, has some degree of consciousness. Even a stone has rudimentary consciousness, otherwise it would not be, and its atoms and molecules would disperse. Everything is alive. The sun, the earth, plants, animals, humans, all are expressions of consciousness in varying degrees, consciousness manifesting as form. The world arises when consciousness takes on shapes and forms, thought forms and material forms. Look at the millions of life forms on this planet alone, in the sea, on land, in the air, and then each life form is replicated millions of times. To what end? Is someone or something playing a game with form? This is what the ancient seers of India asked themselves. They saw the world as Leela, a kind of divine game that God is playing. The individual life forms are obviously not very important in this game. In the sea, most life forms don't survive for more than a few minutes after being born. The human form turns to dust pretty quickly too, and when it is gone, it is as if it had never been. Is that tragic or cruel? Only if you create a separate identity for each form, if you forget that its consciousness is God essence expressing itself in form. But you don't truly know that until you realize your own God essence as pure consciousness. If a fish is born in your aquarium and you call it John, write out a birth certificate, tell him about his family history, and 2 minutes later he gets eaten by another fish. That's tragic. But it's only tragic because you projected a separate self where there was none. You got hold of a fraction of a dynamic process, a molecular dance, and made a separate entity out of it. Consciousness takes on the disguise of forms until they reach such complexity that it completely loses itself in them. In present-day humans, consciousness is completely identified with its disguise. It only knows itself as form and therefore lives in fear of the annihilation of its physical or psychological form. This is the egoic mind, and this is where considerable dysfunction sets in. It now looks as if something had gone very wrong somewhere along the line of evolution. But even this is part of Leela, the divine game. Finally, the pressure of suffering created by this apparent dysfunction forces consciousness to disidentify from form and awakens it from its dream of form. It regains self-consciousness, but it is at a far deeper level than when it lost it. This process is explained by Jesus in his parable of the lost son, who leaves his father's home, squanders his wealth, becomes destitute, and is then forced by his suffering to return home. When he does, his father loves him more than before. The son's state is the same as it was before, yet not the same. It has an added dimension of depth. The parable describes a journey from unconscious perfection through apparent imperfection and evil to conscious perfection. Can you now see the deeper and wider significance of becoming present as the watcher of your mind? Whenever you watch the mind, you withdraw consciousness from mind forms, which then becomes what we call the watcher or the witness. Consequently, the watcher, pure consciousness beyond form, becomes stronger, and the mental formations become weaker. When we talk about watching the mind, we are personalizing an event that is truly of cosmic significance. Through you, consciousness is awakening out of its dream of identification with form and withdrawing from form. This foreshadows, but is already part of, an event that is probably still in the distant future as far as chronological time is concerned. The event is called the end of the world. When consciousness frees itself from its identification with physical and mental forms, it becomes what we may call pure or enlightened consciousness, or presence. This has already happened in a few individuals, and it seems destined to happen soon on a much larger scale, although there's no absolute guarantee that it will happen.
We did.
Most humans are still in the grip of the egoic mode of consciousness, identified with their mind and run by their mind. If they do not free themselves from their mind in time, they will be destroyed by it. They will experience increasing confusion, conflict, violence, illness, despair, madness. Egoic mind has become like a sinking ship. If you don't get off, you will go down with it. The collective egoic mind is the most dangerously insane and destructive entity ever to inhabit this planet. What do you think will happen on this planet if human consciousness remains unchanged? Already for most humans, the only respite they find from their own minds is to occasionally revert to a level of consciousness below thought. Everyone does that every night during sleep, but this also happens to some extent through sex, alcohol, and other drugs that suppress excessive mind activity. If it weren't for alcohol, tranquilizers, antidepressants, as well as the illegal drugs, which are all consumed in vast quantities, the insanity of the human mind would become even more glaringly obvious than it is already. I believe that, if deprived of their drugs, a large part of the population would become a danger to themselves and others. These drugs, of course, simply keep you stuck in dysfunction. Their widespread use only delays the breakdown of the old mind structures and the emergence of higher consciousness. While individual users may get some relief from the daily torture inflicted on them by their minds, they are prevented from generating enough conscious presence to rise above thought and so find true liberation. Falling back to a level of consciousness below mind, which is the pre-thinking level of our distant ancestors and of animals and plants, is not an option for us. There's no way back. If the human race is to survive, it will have to go on to the next stage. Consciousness is evolving throughout the universe in billions of forms. So even if we didn't make it, this wouldn't matter on a cosmic scale. No gain in consciousness is ever lost, so it would simply express itself through some other form. But the very fact that I am speaking here and you are listening to this is a clear sign that the new consciousness is gaining a foothold on the planet. There's nothing personal in this. I am not teaching you. You are consciousness, and you are listening to yourself. There's an Eastern saying, the teacher and the taught together create the teaching. In any case, the words in themselves are not important. They are not the truth. They only point to it. I speak from presence, and as I speak, you may be able to join me in that state. Although every word that I use has a history, of course, and comes from the past, as all language does, the words that I speak to you now are carriers of the high energy frequency of presence, quite apart from the meaning they convey as words. Silence is an even more potent carrier of presence. So when you listen to me speak, be aware of the silence between and underneath the words. Be aware of the gaps. To listen to the silence, wherever you are, is an easy and direct way of becoming present. Even if there's noise, there's always some silence underneath and in between the sounds. Listening to the silence immediately creates stillness inside you. Only the stillness in you can perceive the silence outside. And what is stillness other than presence, consciousness freed from thought forms? Here's the living realization of what we have been talking about. Don't get attached to any one word. You can substitute Christ for presence if that is more meaningful to you. Christ is your God essence, or the self as it is sometimes called in the East. The only difference between Christ and presence is that Christ refers to your indwelling divinity regardless of whether you are conscious of it or not, whereas presence means your awakened divinity or God essence. Many misunderstandings and false beliefs about Christ will clear if you realize that there is no past or future in Christ. To say that Christ was or will be is a contradiction in terms. Jesus was. He was a man who lived 2,000 years ago and realized divine presence, his true nature, and so he said, "Before Abraham was, I am." He did not say, "I already existed before Abraham was born." That would have meant that he was still within the dimension of time and form identity. The words "I am," used in a sentence that starts in the past tense, indicate a radical shift, a discontinuity in the temporal dimension. It is a Zen-like statement of great profundity. Jesus attempted to convey directly, not through discursive thought, the meaning of presence, of self-realization. He had gone beyond the consciousness dimension governed by time into the realm of the timeless. The dimension of eternity had come into this world. And eternity, of course, does not mean endless time, but no time. Thus the man Jesus became Christ, a vehicle for pure consciousness.
Boom. Yeah, this was lit. This was Satori. Satori has been ringing in my ear. And I caught Satori the first time listening to Alan Watts. I caught Satori again listening to Alan Watts. And I was just like, okay. Then I caught Satori reading it. I don't know, watching something. Then I caught it again. I said, all right, trust my instincts. And I wrote it down. As soon as I wrote it down, something happened. So let me get up there first. Give me a second. What y'all think? So y'all get it now, right? If you're on this page, that's what I was trying to get you to understand earlier, was that the energy that me, am vibrating at, I don't doubt it no more. So if anybody's in my life, yeah, I shout out to it. And we think that it's just one person. Nah. When they talk about the one, they're talking about you, right? We're connected, oneness. And so when the page is doing what it's doing because the energy is resonating amongst us all. Holy smokes, oh, I like this. Oh, so on and so forth, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And you stay at you stay in your now. But the now has levels. And this is what I'm realizing. This is my 2-bit to what I'm hearing, on a constant rotation. The now has levels like breathing does. And I just figured it out by hearing about Satori. And I'm going to use archery as a way to explain how you can live in a whole nother world, like a whole nother, so let's get fun. Let's get fun. Welcome back, Miss Nessa. I love y'all supporting each other, man. It'd be so dope. I just be over here reading the comments. About what, Jenny? You said, what did he say earlier? In reference to, I'll play it back for you. Thank you, Jenny. Yes, to keep flowing in the right direction, anything until about 8 months ago. Hey, welcome to the party, Superman. Yeah. Welcome to the party. How you doing with everything? Let's do a freaking Zoom call. We need to. Every time somebody says Zoom call, listen, I'm going to be honest. For some reason, me and technology, we're going to be rocking sometime. I'll be like, I can do Zoom. Or I don't know. I went on there one day. I was just like, what the hell is this? This is why smart people, this is why I'm telling you, I learned something about entrepreneurs and smart people. They go find the people. I want, they just say words, I want, and then somebody say, I can do it, and then that's it. I ain't lying. I watch Oprah do it. I watch Hugh Hefner do it. I watch Walt Disney do it. I watch Jay-Z do it. I watch P. Diddy do it. And they get to stay in their craft. They get to do the thing they enjoy. But it's a way, it's a thing. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Picking your team is vital. It's vital. It is vital. And so I'm gonna let y'all know that every time I get to take Zoom call, let me write another note. Watch. Set up Zoom. And Skype. Somebody asked me to do Skype. I couldn't do it. That level of talker is accepted. Yes. I'm crying. These are all questions I have been asking for years or better. Ruthie, well, shoot. Here we go. Energy goes where energy flows. Yes, it does. Oneness. Yes. Appreciate the follow, Superman. You're here for a reason. Yep. So y'all got that, right? Like, Y'all are asking to be here. Play the game inside your head. How many pages are there on TikTok tonight? Pick a number. Who cares? Even if it was more than one, right? And you make that choice. And so whatever choice you're making, do not feel like your choice is by accident. Learn how to have conviction without feeling like you need to rub it in other people's faces, right? Learn how to have that confidence. It's like, I like this. And like, wow, if someone doesn't agree with you, that's how they feel about it. And if you're here, what he's saying is that my consciousness level is at your consciousness level. And what we do is grow from each other. This is what I'm telling y'all. When y'all are vulnerable, I learn a lot. But because of what I've gone through, my skill or my craft or my thing, whatever word you want to use at that point, is that I resonate at what everybody else is doing because I felt other levels or different levels or whatever levels of pain. And that's how it goes. Some people can't feel it. They just be like, oh man, that sounds like it sucks. Like, right? And you might have, crossed those people. And then some, it just like, shoot, just hearing the story make them break. Right? And so we're attracting each other. Everybody in here, right? And trust me, this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And once again, when I first started, one of my earliest videos was pay attention to the message, not the messenger. And that's all of them. That's Buddha, that's Jesus, that's Muhammad, that's MLK, that's freaking Mother Teresa. That's everybody. Pay attention to the message, not the messenger, right? And then why? Because you start to be like, oh, the messenger is this. But he's this. Oh, look at his past. Well, what is his future? Well, what can he... Listen to the message. Because nothing is promised to anybody. That's why I tell people, don't worry about what people think about you. They bored. When people get at, I'll be like, you bored? You bored. Oh, I am. Yeah, he did the whole I am part. Man, that I am is like... I told you, I am as a contract. I am as a contract to the universe that I exist, damn it. When you say I am, pick a motherfucking word. That is you telling the universe, I am here. I am. Pick the word. So the universe says, as you wish. I am. Whatever it is, you pick a word. And the universe says, boom. And will not fail you. It will not let you down. We as humans are some of the most impatient. And so we don't know how to wait, and we don't know how to wait properly. And this is where we'll get to Satori. I'm going to play some music. While in foster care, I went to this camp that I talked about a while ago. It's called Fred A. Lennon Youth Camp. And it's one of the reasons, in my opinion, for my own life, where I didn't just stick to what the other foster kids had happened. Like I seemed to have a different twinge towards my life. And I will say that in this camp, I experienced every particular type of sport. One of my billion-dollar dreams is to create this type of camp for men and women, for men and women, children as well, and start giving that type of foundation, because I learned something. In foster care, life was bad, but here that wasn't the case. I was like a badass over there in this camp. But there were certain things I was able to do because of foster care, and that's how I started to experience that I was different, because I got to go do something that most foster kids didn't do. I was picked out of this group, and it was a beautiful thing. I experienced all the sports. They talked about college. We had camp stories. I had s'mores. And this time frame was 1 month from 16, 15, 14, 13. 1 month right after like schools ended back, schools November, or not November, summers was longer back then, boy. You had like 9 months for summer. I know it was 3, but summers don't, they somehow shorted summers. But we would go after, as soon as the summer would start, and we'd be there for a month. And I remember being good at archery. There's something I intuitively understand, and I know how to explain it now. The word is Satori, and there's not a word for it in English. But I understand it. And so I'll give it so many different examples so that you can grip it. Here we go. Example number 1. When they're talking about as far as archery, when I first started shooting archery, I saw someone do it first, and then I went to go do it and hit bullseye, right? But it was, not, wasn't like, it was bullseye, but then the person who was doing it is like, oh, you've shot before? I said, no, I've never shot before. I said, you're the first person I've ever seen. So we call that beginner's luck. And all I did was become him. I saw all of his movement. There was a show called Heroes where we talked about a young lady who could look at people's movements. It's true, y'all. Like, you can look at someone's movement and learn things. We feel like, oh, we can't do it exactly like them. Says who? Why do you think they call it beginner's luck? Because your brain relaxed on whatever receptive. Okay, left leg did this, right leg did that. Okay, boom, 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 boom. You don't believe me? Your children be watching you like this. They pick everything up. And so your body can do that now as an adult, regardless of your size, regardless of your height. There are people who can do things. They'll be like, you can't do, oh my goodness. You was 400 pounds. Did you just do a backflip? I'm sorry. I apologize. I can't do a backflip no more, right? And that's when I started to realize that if your brain can see it, it ain't shit your body can't do. And so boom, there it was. And then he taught me all these different moves, and he had me understand how to, my back muscle and how to pull the string and, my forearm and everything. And when you do this in a breathing fashion. And so when you get ready to pull, you sit there and you pull it back and you do it in this one breath and you let go. And I just watched him to that level, but I didn't know that's what I was actually doing. I can explain it now. I didn't know that's what I was actually doing. That moment when you're pulling back, you're not having any tension. You're like at your literally perfect moment of just relaxation. And you let it go. When you let that string go, like it's just, and it doesn't take that long. That is called Satori. Once again, didn't know that. Part 2. Before he got to the ups and downs and what you do between your nows and what you're doing with your presence. I drew this, and we talked about this the last time when it goes up and down or breathing. I was talking about breathing, right? You breathe in, you breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. At the bottom of these breaths, we call that in the military, this is where we pull the trigger whenever we're looking down range or whatever. Same thing with archery, but with archery, your enemy's moving. So you got a little bit more power with the gun. So you got a little bit more with archery. You don't want to get too close, right? So you got to utilize what you can for the distance that is allowable on that particular weapon in view to archery. When you're shooting, you don't shoot in the midst of your breath, either in or out. You shoot on the down. I can't remember the word of it, but that space, and it looks just like this. You breathe in. Is anybody saying it? I haven't said it. I haven't showed anybody how to shoot in such a long time. But you breathe in, and in that movement, as you're breathing in, you don't do anything. You let life, that is the ups of life. And as you breathe out, that is the downs to life. At this bottom, this is where the birth happens. This is where the eggs meets the sperm meets the ovaries. This is where it all happens. This is how you can maximize, I don't know how to say the goddamn word, hypergogia, where you are creating at a point in your brain where you're exhausted, but you don't have any room to fight anything else, right? And it's a sweet spot, they said. I'm learning that's called Satori. I'm starting to realize along with that, this has started to identify myself only for labeling for everybody else to have the language, is that this is why I don't see good and bad the same way. Because that middle is Satori. I understood that you said it was bad. I thought it was wonderful. Or this person viewed it this way, and that person, I understood that at a level of, once again, as a kid, I understood that people would go from angry to happy, like this. And so it looked like it was just an off and on switch. No, there's something happening when you are going from angry to happy, or when you're going from happy to angry. This is why they tell you, be careful what it is you watch. Be careful who you have around you, because these things are triggering. And so you can you can change your reality of what it is you're seeing when you're angry, or what it is you're hearing or tasting, and anything to increase your positive feeling. But that time frame that it takes to switch from angry to that right there, this movement, as you go down, you're not happy. You're not sad. That's Satori. That moment That energy is at its powerless. If you've ever seen an anime, if you've ever seen a warrior type ordeal where they're just sitting there and they wait, and out of nowhere, and the person is hurt, or the person is, and then they have the sword. It's like, how did they do that? Because that moment is Satori. When a person is speaking, this is why he say pay attention to the words and the space in between, because this is where the energy is at its strongest. Goddamn, I'm so excited to explain this to y'all. I hope y'all are feeling me. When a person is speaking to you, like me right now, you can feel the energy in between my pauses. You can feel the absence or the gripping of the energy whenever I'm speaking. Children do it when they cry. It sounds, yeah. Oh, you're not turning it. They'll turn up and they get louder and louder and louder. You see what I'm saying? We do this, and this is how you can tell when people are lying. Like, say that one more time. Right? You can smell authenticity. When I say stop fighting your goddamn feelings, stop fighting your feelings. Trust your feelings. If your feelings ain't lead you astray, trust your intuition. Let your intuition burn you. So you'll be like, I ain't doing that no more. You're going to trust your intuition not to do that. So don't forget. You're like, well, I trust my intuition. I got hurt. Are you going to do it again? No. Are you going to trust your intuition? Oh, you motherfucker. When you see that there is no good, there is no bad, all this movement he's talking about is the energy, frequency, vibration in which we breathe, in which we move, in which we grow, and everything that exists from this pen to these damn cards. There's an energy of vibration. And in between, you want to create, you want to master your, God damn it, what is that word? I'm going to learn it. Nostalgia or whatever it is. It's in between your breathing. This is why you meditate. This is why you sit there. You can see love. You can see love in peaceful fashions, no different than you can see a child who's resting, or a man who's smiling, or a woman who is walking and for the gentleman, right? When you see somebody, like, she look happy. She sound like she walking happy. You know, you don't believe me? You know what it sound like when she walking mad, don't you? You can hear love. And for some goddamn reason, we fight it. We fight it. You're not gonna, for some reason, because we're not taught how to express our emotions when we catch the infrequencies against the frequencies that's sent to us. And so somebody said, no, I'm fine. And you're sitting there like, no, you're not. I can feel it in between your breaths when you speak to me. P.S. When you're in a relationship with a waking man or a waking woman, I'm learning right now that it's not always fun for them. I'm learning that is not always the case, because you're reading all of this. And so when you get you have consciousness awareness across the board, and you have it everywhere. You have it from your past to your future to your now. You can mix it up like DNA with other people's futures when they speak to you, even how they speak to you. You can see if their future would be bright with you or not. If you trust your instincts. If you trust your feelings, if you say to yourself, all I'm going to do is be loving. If your energy is if your energy is consistent with this frequency, I don't have to ever worry about your authenticity. So I can close my eyes and we just go rule the world, right? This is what he's talking about. And I think I found a way to get people to understand that now feeling on when to make decisions, on when to identify the best time to feel this type of way with a person. And I'm pretty sure that I can show it better than I can tell it by actually just existing next to someone and seeing them see how I make decisions. No different than if you see a child who's happy or not happy. It's the same thing. This Satori, this moment, I'll use this as a last moment. And pretend, if you will, you're my mom or dad, right? You're my parent. And your child is a kid walking this way across the wall, right? Imagine a wall right here. And they're looking this way. And you call them. Their attention is turned towards wherever they're walking. And, my name's Kyle, y'all. So he's like, hey, baby. And the child is turning their head. I need you to know that you've seen this in movies, but you need to slow down the speed. You've seen this in if you've seen the movie Inception. This time frame where, or you see are people where they look like they have these bubble thoughts, and right then is when they knew such and such fucked up, right? And they having these million thoughts going on. This is when the thoughts is going on. It's going on in Satori. It's going on when you're breathing goes from high to low, and you're like, oh shit. And this is when they knew. And it's like this whole long movie, and then the next clip of the movie is the person taking the last breath. When a child is when you get your child's attention, yes, they turn their head. I need you to know that child is processing from the time they're turning their head to whatever they're looking at, to the stimuli of your voice, the audio of them being called by your name. As they're turning, this right here, this movement from the beginning over here of them turning from there to this new now, that is the breathing frequency of sitting in between balance. Oh, I hope y'all got me on that. That is the frequency from going here, right? I'm happy to sad, or I'm looking at this direction, mommy called me. And as I'm turning my head, this turning head from point A to this new point, this enjoy the journey. Man, this is crazy. Enjoying the journey. This portion of it, we're so rushing to get up the mountain. We're so rushed to get down the mountain. But we forget that it takes time to take that first step. That child, I want you to know, is processing everything in that little head turn. Because they have no limits to thought process. They have no limits to smell. They have no labels to anything. They're everything. Their whole world is just like this colorful, like, holy shit, everything's crazy. Shit, there's mama. What you want? I need you to know that's how I see the world right now. Everything that I do. When people talk to me, it gets to the point where I just be like, whoo. So hopefully I understand that everything you do in that moment of Satori, that moment of breathing, that moment of, and I see the comments getting up, that moment of that turning moment, right? You're driving, right? Jamming your music, you're feeling good, and then you get into a car accident. Boom. Did you just turn to anger? No, something happened. And there are people who can feel that fucking transition. And I'm one of them. I don't know. That's why it's not a word for it. It's that to. And I've learned how to play in that field. That's your now. Not here, not here. Here. Not your, holy shit, not your, right? Like not your past, present, no matter how you look at it. Right? You're now. This right here, there's something important about these highest levels. This is your highest level of vibration. You want to feel all your damn feelings. But some people tell you don't make decisions when you feel that loving, or you don't make decisions when you're feeling down. What they're speaking about is that if you're not willing to stick to your decision on you making this decision, and you start going down, you're gonna start beating yourself up about the past. You're at this love point, yeah, let's get married, and then stuff, things start getting rough or whatever. The world starts challenging you, and you start going down, and now you get into this point. You're like, God damn it, why I married this chick? Man, why I married this guy? Oh fuck. Now you're down here, and it's down and out. This is where you get your gold. This is where you bang that shit home. But then, for whatever reason, because it's too much pressure, the relationship says, hey, I gotta go. And then all of a sudden, right, they tip that right here, right? Boom. I love you so much. I'm going down, going down, going down. The shit is hard. They break up, and all of a sudden, you start going up. Then you try it with somebody else. You do the same shit. Boom. But you're not making your commitment to your decisions. And so you look backwards here, and you feel bad for the decisions that you made here. That doesn't make sense. And so when you have that power of your commitment, when you start living in your now, and you're sitting there doing the quote unquote planning process, you trust in your intuition, you know life is going to get you through your ups and downs. Are we paying attention, right? We know life is going to get us through our ups and downs. And so when you get that love moment, because regardless, you pretend that this next moment is guaranteed, don't kid yourself, right? So when you get this moment, man, rock with it, right? You might actually stay in it a little bit longer. Same here, but nothing is guaranteed. Right? So these emotions, the emotions of life, you'll sit there, you'll grab your Satori, you'll grab that moment, and no matter who it is you're in a relationship with, the cashier, your boo thing, your side chick, your dog, your fucking plants, you'll never ever waste a moment. You'll always be present. And life is, for me, is like, I don't. That's it. That's all I got. That's really what I got. I was like, why the music didn't play? It's updating. But yeah. We were taught to suppress, speak it up. I hear you so loud. Good. What's up, y'all? It's not nostalgia. It's hypnosagia, hypnosia. And so I hit it off, man. There's so much shit on my phone, y'all. I see how the greats would get into that time frame what they call flow state, right? So flow state would be more so of you hitting that now and you realizing, I don't have to feel these emotions if I don't want to. You have the ability to take them off. Like for those who go through numb, or for people who have postpartum depression, these things are they're controlling it, but they don't know they're controlling it no more than they know they're controlling the blood in their the flow of blood in their veins, or it's just spitting. You can do all of that, and so this flow state, you can control how you want to be and how you want to execute that energy. When I learned that was doable, I'm gonna tell y'all now, I don't feel like there's nothing anybody can't do. I'm not fucking with y'all. I've known people with no arms bench press more weight than me. I don't know how to explain it, right? So there's nothing, right? There's nothing that's impossible. Flow state, that's gotta be, yeah. I never thought about it like that. In that form, you can actually hold it down and hit that flow state. The bridge, the contrasting moment, and transports us. The middle. Yes, that's deep. Thank you, Chucky. I could flip to 100 other lives, but I'm stuck here for a reason. I am. You are. Good, good, good. I'm so awake right now. I'm telling you, if y'all here, we're awakened. I'm telling y'all. We're all walking consciously. Some people realize it. Other people are kind of feeling differently, right? I'm telling y'all right now, I'm gonna go sprint and see how it feels. I'm not lying. I'm about to. Did y'all know? Hey, did you? Right? And so that's my excitement. That's the kid, right? That's my sight as a child. Make decisions as a man, but everything I do it as a beast. I don't know much about this stuff, but I know I've seen so many things on my journey. Good things. Facts, thank you for this message. Of course, Jenny. What a way to start the day. Oh my God, so grateful. Man, I love y'all. Thank you, Miss Nessa. Wow, thank you. Faith, I can't travel. It's always reachable. Don't absorb it. We feel it. We have the God. We have the God gift of feeling. I've never heard that. We have the God-given gift of feeling. Is there more? I've never heard that. I like that. Because for those who've not heard me say it before, my 2-bit to what I'm part of my purpose is the feelings we think we have, that's nothing. We have as many feelings in our bodies as stars in the sky. Watch me prove it. And a lot of it is in that goddamn time frame. We don't know how to operate it because we feel like we have to operate when we feel sad. We have to feel like we operate when we feel, nah. Operate when you say you want to operate. You can control all this shit. Excuse me, I like that God-given gift of feeling. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Nope, mine is Jehovah's Witness. That's what was happening, man. The seas of a mountain waved his hand. We are taught to suppress, we are, speak it up. I hear you so loud, correct. I feel like I'm singing a song. It's hard to explain the experience, the 8th dimension. I could see anyone's whole life in a blink. So somebody else had touched, man, there are people that reach out to me, y'all, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm a child with knowledge. You speak, I absorb at the speed of a computer. That is no bullshit. And so I'm accumulating information. No different if you ever seen Fifth Dimension and they started like looking at the computer and all this stuff was going on and we're picking up this information. That's what they're saying. Be careful what you watch, right? And so when information, the people that's being accumulated through the information on this page, I learn a lot very fast. And when I'm learning that what I'm doing is a sight, like the ability to walk, it's just not a lot of words for it. And so we say spiritual, right? But there's a whole nother language. This is, what we were talking about. There's like a whole nother, and I'm just like, man, that is so weird that I can see it. It used to be frustrating, but I get it now, right? But for those who can educate me, and I wrote down the Lost Book and some other stuff that I have on my hit list. I listen to audio, like, spit. Listen, y'all, I'm probably... maybe six books a week. Yeah, because I listen to audio. About 6 books a week. Damn. Maybe more. Couldn't even tell you how I have time, but I don't look at time as time anymore. I have time. I have to make sure I don't go too long. I'm not lying, y'all. Indeed, yes. I'm telling you, for those who was here, that crying night, boy, y'all had me overflowing. And at the time, I hadn't felt it like that from people before. I feel there's been times where we felt the room change off energy. And I was just like, man, anybody else feel that? Inside my head, somebody said the room changed. I was like, damn, that's pretty dope. You can feel this shit. Excuse me. Put some music on. So sometimes, actually, I've been sleeping pretty good, believe it or not. I've been having I wouldn't say dreams, more like long ass ideas. This makes my brain hurt. That's good though, right, Chucky? When I say all light, I mean just brightness everywhere and some are just darkness. Harry Mack as exemplary flow state. Harry Mack as exemplary flow state. I don't think I can be with anyone who doesn't get it like I do. I don't believe. I was faced with the same thing, Miss Nessa. My answer is now yes. Everybody can be loved. When you get to say what type of world you want to create, then you don't have to look for a partner. Does that make sense? When you say, this is the world I want to create, the world I want to create is simple for me, right? Boom. And me wanting that lets me know if the person wants it too. You can't fake energy. I live by energy. So if I say I want poly, and somebody's like, yeah, I want poly too. Well, don't get too excited. Shit. Right? It's like, let's wash it away, right? Let's just say, I want to be in a relationship with you. Right? I find your energy to be blah, blah, blah. The person's like, yeah, you seem pretty cool. When my kids see me, they bum rush the fuck out of me. When I see my homies and I see my friends, I be like, people who are my clients, I be in there talking. And so if you're not able to trust your own energy and say, this is how you feel vulnerably, you're more likely the same person who's not going to be able to say what you desire physically. There's nothing wrong either way, but you have to start within yourself. And once you do that, somebody will be like, well, why you want that? Because I want, because I want that. I desire that. I don't have to explain anything. And when I got to that point where I could protect my, set values or set worth, it became this thing where people was like, oh, can I see what you have? I'm like, you really? You want to? Right? Before, I was just trying to show everybody. Right? And so, because I didn't know my worth. Right? And so if someone can see my worth before I'm showing it, that energy, you can't lie about that. Right? You can't hide the inner beauty. If I say I have inner beauty and someone can see that inner beauty, regardless of saying it, but can see it, their energy is going to respond accordingly. You can't fake that shit. When I say I don't worry about relationships, not at all. That energy will rock. You'll be able to say, yeah, well, no. I've never been told any of this. I was living past and, aw, but all that matters to me is now, yes, congratulations, love. I'm putting my vibes of love out there. It's gonna bring the ripples back. Some are just spectrals with colorful lights making insane shapes, ever changing. Yeah, man. Toka, you. Write your name down, Toka. It's 1, 2, 3. Did y'all catch I saw somebody say, did y'all catch the enjoy within self? Enjoy yourself, enjoy in self. That play on words is literally that the joy is in you. You're never going to find it externally. Trust me. It's in you. When the other person, don't understand or see like this stuff, it can be frustrating. It can, but the patience of love is the secret to it all, right? My children don't see this yet, and a lot of the knowledge that I'm attaining and being privileged to have myself to unlock within myself, I get that me learning it was a part of the process. You got to remember that, and so that type of love and compassion. Check the game out, right? You say, I want to be in a relationship with you. I say, boom, let's go ahead and try. And for whatever reason, this has happened to me. For whatever reason, you start feeling like I can't, please you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Intellectually, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you pick the reason. And if the man or woman is loving, they remind you that who we are is becoming. If you make this decision, your movement is in a loving fashion. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to support you because I love you. Regardless if it's one of you, two of you, or all of you. And so when you think that way, it doesn't matter who's standing in front of you. Your child, someone else's child, your man, your woman, your fill in the blank, your team, your company, your dog, your plant. You see that somebody might be like, oh, this is so, and the other person is, but there's something there for you. Imagine being able to navigate through all of that, regardless of who you're with, right? Now I know I can navigate this through anything, regardless of who I'm with. I live by energy of my desires. And so if that person's energy matches it, right, then you'll feel different. Like when there's a mistake, we'll make a connection on that said mistake as a team. We'll deal with that problem as a team. We'll do everything in that sense as one, right? And that doesn't have to be explained. Does that make sense? Like, we're just going to grow. This is growing in love, right? That's how I see it. First part is faith, yes. Those peaks and valleys can be dark. Yeah, they can. Listen, Jenny, man, I'm telling you, I've learned to. So one of my personal favorite quote is, "I've sat in my darkness for so long that I understand the meaning of enlightenment. It means in the light. So all I do now is offer my light to others because all I can see is their darkness." Right? And so I don't fear the darkness anymore. If a person is, darkness, for them is a bad or scary thing. I was like, no, I was birthed there. Yeah, my mom's, this, and I went through this. Like, no, don't be scared. They told you to be scared of it, but it can't hurt you. And so if you get in my life and you say ugly, what shit? Don't fuck that. Don't run from them. Mm-mm. Nope, don't run from your past. Don't fear your future. Right? Handle this shit right now. And when you do that, the more bridges you help that person cross in that dark time, what happens is that when that dark time comes up in a relationship, healthy relationship, I'm like, sweetie, I got the situation, or babe, I got the situation, and you're sitting there like, oh, what's up? You know how we do it? Shit, it ain't nothing to it. Hey, we fuck all that shit. What's on your mind? You're a priority. We are a priority. This is a priority. If we don't make us a priority, then people gonna tell us when to make a priority. I don't care about Mr. Wilson. Hold on, President. They marry you? What the fuck? Right? As far as marriage, right? Some people like, you married, right? But you understand that my energy is set for its intentions, regardless of when I made that decision. So I'm not gonna back off my words. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I have no reason, because at the same time, I know how to be humble, right? But in that time frame to make that decision, I can make it just as calm and peace and loving, and don't have to flinch for no reason. The mountain-sized man had beautiful clothing on, long red hair, full braided beard, bright green eyes. Holy shit, that sounds... What you talking about, Hat? That sounds familiar. The mountain-sized man. What are you talking about, Hat? Did I miss something? Sounds. It happened. I was awake. That's what's up. I have been having some. Man, my visions are like. It's really different, y'all. There was a time I was like, yeah, let's try this meditation thing. What's meditation? I started doing research. I was like, I've been meditating. What's our girl name? She did the drawing. Who was that? And said that whenever she see mine, and I start thinking, that's exactly, like, I legitimately see colors. I'll get to the point, I'll be in this mode like, damn. It'd be first thing in the morning. I'll be thinking of stuff like, I be feeling like getting live, like within the first hour waking up. That's how things are like in my head. What is her name? Is she? I don't know if she's in here. When you learn how to color with your mind, the colors get deeper, richer, brighter, darker. You get to apply the pressure for every single stroke. You get to count the bristles to the brush. You get to decide every fucking thing. I am not lying, y'all. And you don't need a single word. You don't need to explain nothing. You can actually move in life with kindness. I'm telling you. Animals have been doing it forever. We can do it now. But we feel like we have to label things. Right? Like we feel like we have to put labels on it. And I get it. We get it. that gives us the ability to be a higher level of intelligence. Well, then let's use it to the highest level of intelligence. Speak your heart desire. Don't feel bad for anything you want. Don't hurt yourself or others. And those who really want to rock with you are going to be like, hell yeah, let's do this. Was it really, man? How about you? I don't want to call you the wrong gender, but you definitely snatched my attention. You called me Steve. I appreciate that you called me Steve, by the way. I appreciate that. Painting has been nipping at my heels as of late too there, Grace. I do a lot of coloring, but I've been wanting to upgrade. The urge to share early morning, it becomes an exchange as we resort to. Yeah, if I got somebody here and they up in the morning, boy, when that coffee hit my lips, download. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell happened in my sleep, but there's downloads. You have to go in your mind, take all your problems, worries, anxiety, and put them in a box. You can't take them. No reason to be negative in this life anymore. I've seen greatness in myself. Good. I always go outside the lines of boxes though. Sometimes things come in like a brainstorm, we channel tap into our heart selves. Like goodness. Thank you, call me Steve. I had I guess I decided to update. Let's do this one. Good, Grace. Good, love. One of the dimensions I dance with a woman I've never seen. I can't think. All right, so Haptoker. So for those who, when you say dimension, man, I need somebody to talk to, y'all. Listen, y'all. I use the word past, present, and future to reference other things for people. I need y'all to know that's nothing more than time traveling. Hang in there. This shit gets weird. Time traveling is this simple. You go into the past at the age of 20, pretending you're 40 like me, and you remember thinking about a memory you had when you were 20 sitting with your wife. And you think about that memory and how it made you feel when you tried to express to your wife on what happened to you in your past. I was talking to ex-wife number one about what happened to my past, what happened to me in my past. She responded in a way that hurt my feelings, and so I didn't tell that for quite some time. But I remember that now at the age of 40. When that happened, I hadn't told anybody in like fucking forever. But now I'm able to tell it because I went back to the past and accepted that the only reason why she did what she did because she didn't know how to receive me and my emotions at that time. And so her being by my side was the most powerful thing she could have been, because there's 7.8 billion people in the world and it could have been anybody to spend that time with. And instead of me feeling insecure towards how she responded, I simply could have said, "Thank you for being here, my dear." And just like that, at the age of 38, I realized that you can go back in time, change the way you look at a memory, or what they call transmutation, towards your emotions, and change your future. This is how you time travel. So when people say dimensions, I'm thinking time travel? Because that's the only way you can do it, where you can create stories like people who create these books and have such a deepness towards it. But there are people like me who can see their memories with such precision and clarity, like the age of 3, sleeping with another man and another woman, to have it confirmed by my biological father, only for me to feel even a little bit more discomfort, like, if that was real, is everything else real? Then going back to my therapist, who ended up being my mentor, who I was like, man, sometimes I have these thoughts, like, sometimes he was like, "You don't believe they're yours?" I was like, "Sometimes I don't." He was like, "Kyle, nobody makes those thoughts up for fun." And tears started flowing. And so I started connecting things, that I'm one of these guys that can see his past and his future. And I didn't know. I thought everybody could. But I was taught to shut up. And so I only spoke when I was supposed to. I'm not the only one, though. There's a whole bunch of people in the world right now who can see their past and present with as much precision and clarity as me. And not just their own, everybody's. That's when and not some like some cool stuff. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, and when do you do it? Now. But you have to like, and your awareness just goes like all over the world. This is why they make stuff like Professor Xavier and have these ideas and concepts. It's not ideas and concepts. This is real deal mind reading, floating. All of it's real, y'all. And so whenever I see Tokyo say these things, when I'm realizing that when people explain things to me, I be like, oh, I've done that. I'm going to ask them this. And so when you say dimensions, right, is that what you're meaning? I've learned that I've had dreams about my past lives. My auntie was like, "How? There's no brothers." And so you didn't know brothers at this location, so on and so forth. I had to call my brother up, and I reached out to my brother to see if he remembered the story. And I started thinking, what if he doesn't? He hasn't responded. So what if he doesn't? Did I make this up? Am I tripping? Like, he was there. He was there. But stuff like that started to happen. And so more and more and more and more. So once again, y'all are in here teaching me constantly. Like, I'm awakened and I realize I can walk, and y'all are guiding me, but we're all one. Like, we're guiding each other. Does that make sense? In other words, I love my now with y'all at all times. Appreciate the follow, Jesus Christ Warlord. Spiritual warfare. What about it? You're saying, is it real or too low dark? How do you stay sane amongst family and friends that you can't articulate that to? Remember this gorgeous rule. You can't run nobody. 7.8 billion people estimated in this world. Everybody can call you, fill in the ugliest name you can think of at this time. Go. And you can either agree with them or not agree with them. But how you feel, what you say to you, that's what matters. People have gotten taught that it doesn't matter what you think about yourself. And then when I started to realize that how I think about myself was just as important as how I was treating you as a man or as a woman. How do I know this? Because how I treated you is how you responded to what it is that I was doing. It's the same way when you treat yourself good, your body, your mind responds well as well. If you're doing this to yourself and the people around you are being nasty to you, you'll be able to be like, nah, I don't talk to myself like that. I don't, right? You don't have to, right? My favorite example is, especially when it comes to cop killing, right? people look at it as far as being black. I said, look at it like this. It's that I'm who I am. And I got pulled over and you call my wife fat. And you're like, right? I'm not laughing at that. I'm going to be upset. But the world I come from is that if I don't laugh at your feelings for you hurting somebody else, I got to get hurt. Where we do that at? Because we learned in our families. I feel like this. Boy, go in that room and shut up. And so you want to be able to discuss and express your vulnerability to what it is you're experiencing. You hurt your toe, you didn't get enough cookies, whatever. But they feel like it's insignificant. And so because they're looking at your problem, you're now insignificantly, you're going to do that to other people. Now you feel like you have to have that value attached to them so that you can fit their lives. Fuck that. No, you don't. No. If they don't treat you how you treat yourself, why are you questioning what it is they do? Ask them, is that how you want to treat me? If that's how you want to treat me, I got it. I can't control shit you do. But I don't do that to you, so I don't think that's conducive for our relationship. And move on, regardless if it's your friends, your family members, it don't matter. And put it like this: is that how you want your children to be? How you say it amongst family and friends who don't? You don't adjust. You change because you desire to. Super. One was all light just bright. That's what's up. What's up, Clint? Appreciate it. I love my now. Excuse me, y'all. Well, only 4 dimensions have had human-like life. The other 4 are very hard to explain. It was like the 3rd person who's told me that, so that's why I was like, I don't know. They were so simple. They were so simple and so important. Oh my God. Good. Good. I'm glad y'all like it. It's hard to explain the experience, so I use the word dimension. And I'm just trying to find, remember words are man, whatever dimension means to someone today, add 100 years, it might not mean the same, right? The word is energy, it's God, love, matter, air, it goes on and on, consciousness, right? And so I'm starting to realize that these words are interchangeable. Dancing is a feeling, inner body expression, and outward experience. Dance. Once again, I got other ideas for time travel. That's like a little shop, right? You can change your future with thoughts. For those who understand, when they say this right here, like Walt Disney, Hugh Hefner. My running joke was, how did Hugh Hefner do what he did? How did Walt Disney do what he did? Like, y'all don't get it. This dude created Disney World on the world. All over the world. But MLK said, I have a dream. And they're like, oh nah, we got to get this one. What did he say? Like, no one's, and so there's like racism. And I was like, it's not racism. It's something more. It's that in between. You're trying to get me to look at this, to come over here now. It's something in between. And there it was. It is really our minds. You can do some, we can, if this is what y'all mean, like it's hard to explain, like there's some things I'm just like, I can show you better than I can tell you. And I don't even know how to explain that. When I saw that, I started to look at Albert Einstein. I started understanding him. I started to look at the people who survived and why the others didn't. It was easy, but I just couldn't understand what was the hidden secret. And when I read Emile Couillet, and I saw when his book was written, and I ran back to see when Walt Disney created Walt Disney, A year after Emil Coulier released the book, Autosuggestion, Training Consciously Through Autosuggestion. And then somebody comes up and is like, I draw a mouse. And then he has the we say arrogance, but he has the confidence, or it's him being a kid, to say, don't forget it all started with the mouse. But MLK said, I have a dream, and it's a wrap. Oh, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I understand why people are being targeted, because not the whole suicide, literally for those who understand its precision, you can dial this in ways that makes no sense. This is how Tony Robbins was doing it, or is doing it. This is how Prince EA is doing it. This is how Jay Shetty is doing it. That now, you actually don't even have to define anything and just move. And you'll pop, 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 pop. And just like that, everything starts to. Man, it's a lot, y'all. It's like very, very, holy shit, I got it. And if you're here, you got it as well. Does that make sense? Like, you got it. Like, we all have it. No one does not have it. No one's not walking. We just don't know we're walking. When the child begins to walk, the child doesn't know they're walking. They're just fucking moving. They just, right? And then we teach them that they're walking. The world taught me that I was walking. So I'm realizing that other people realize that they're walking because you realize I'm walking. And the only reason why you know I'm walking is, well, because you understand me. So we're walking together. Once again, you're not here by accident. If you understand it, don't understand it, there's stuff that people say on here, I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then we start filling it in. Yeah, each one teach one. Yeah, this is live in action, y'all. This is live in action. Since I'm short on barbecue, this is still so much from existing stories though, and changed the end and made him famous. Grace, I'm telling you right now, don't do it to him. When I say don't even waste your time, it's better to see why they did what they did from what it was, that good or bad. Don't title shit. You'll miss all your power. Whew. If you get scared of anything, you'll judge everything. If you get scared of anything you can do, you'll judge everything outside of you. But if you ain't scared of shit you can do, you'll understand why every single person did what they said they were gonna do. From the greatest villains to the greatest superheroes. You don't question shit. You'll be like, that's why they did it. Yeah, I don't like it. You ain't gotta like it. Real shit, you ain't gotta like it. They'll come in and do what they gotta do. Put your big boy pants on, because the Earth's population, we see it. They think they bad until Mother Nature come through. You're like, you wasn't that bad. So do the best you can, right? Such and such stole from such and such and stole from such and such. Skip all that, queen. Stay in that. You turn it. It's right there. Balance. And you'll see it. Precision every time. What about the times you have the sensation of, I have been and done this before? Is that time travel? Yes. Yes, you've thought about something so much. You manifested that time frame where you feel like, that's you thinking about that moment so much. You feel like, am I tripping? Did I see this right? Yes, that is time traveling, because you're always in your now. For you to always be in your now and feel these moments, somebody said that gut feeling is your past, is your future self, like trying to tell you, stop, don't do that. The way I look at it is that your future self should be rooting you on. Your future self should be sitting there telling you, yeah, you remember that shit? Well, finally we learned. Your future self should be literally the person who is that those feelings, that the The sensation, look at that as your future self rubbing your back or punching your damn stomach. Look at that feeling of deja vu as you mastering your past, present, and now, or your past, future, and present. And that's your now. Like, this is that, damn, this is so, from the worst case scenario to the point you're just like, did I, right? To the moment of, to me, that is time traveling. I've had it here. I've had it here where I've caught my, man, chill out, boy. Whoo. Yes. It's pretty fun up in here, y'all. I see how people get called crazy. I see how people get called like the Jim Carreys of the world. Like I love Jim Carrey, but I understand his lingo more than I probably should for when I thought he was right. Then I started looking at Jim Carrey like, oh, we the same. All right, this is that. That makes sense. Is that me, right? And then I was looking at it from the judgmental standpoint. I'm just like, no, I get it. This is a part of the process. If I was talking to Jim Carrey right now, we'd be so fucking, the hell? Well, I'm gonna tell you now, this is how I feel like talking to y'all. I can't, we gotta do Zoom. Logos. A logos, yeah, the word is God. Our mind is power. Does that mean something? It's a word. If we knew the power of our minds, we'd never think a negative thought. Correct? Man, we sure wouldn't. Like, I really am writing a book in my head right now. It is called Unconditional Love. But how I'm gonna spend it, you know, my mentor, if you will. I'm gonna express it by feelings, but I'm gonna write it. So it's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna have to use references and ways for people to see how to catch that feeling without saying the title of a feeling. And if somebody want to title it, fine. You can call it piece of paper. I don't give a shit. But that feeling, I'm starting to realize that we're resonating at that feeling. It's just like we just click. I don't know, we just click. That's that goddamn feeling. If you can stay there and those negative thoughts, people will repel from you. They will repel. They can't hang around you. Real, recognize real. Be dope. See, I've done that before. Deja vu, knowing exactly the moment you snap out of it is such an experience. I've done that before. Yeah, we need another room, man. I got questions. I got questions for other people, man. I think this is probably one of the world's greatest alchemists ever seen. Did it right in front of our faces. That shit is crazy, y'all. Right in front of our faces. Ain't nobody stopping. Kings and queens still feel like limitation, but it's wording. Excuse me. But it's wording that humans can understand we grow. Can carry pain in his joy, eternal sunshine of the spotless heart. Just so y'all know, the colorful tunnel that I travel in is unexplainably beautiful. Man, there's somebody else who did that. Did we talk last time? You're saying the same stuff. Somebody else was talking to you like that. I'm like, what is that? That's making me lick my lips. Like, I want some more of that. The mind is the most powerful tool. So like now me saying just like the universe said, all right. Right? The universe is sending me information right now. Like, I trust it to that degree. So when I see it presented to me, I know it wasn't a coincidence. This is how I've learned everything happens for a reason. Right? Because I've been asking, like, what is this? What is this other stuff everybody's talking about? And sure enough, it's coming. The mind is the most beautiful or most powerful tool, but it's working together with our souls we cannot comprehend. Yeah, that's what Eckhart was saying. Uh-oh. experience the fact of existing by terminology. We are what the universe manifests for us, for you, bliss, by the hit of a book. I'm excited. Like I'm saying, we're writing it now. I just put it like this. This is the third time I drew the diagram. Listen, y'all, I'm in scientist mode, boy. There's these all over my kitchen, my dining room table, and I'm drawing diagrams, and I got ideas and the energies of people. Like there's shit in my head. I got my degree in psychology. I was a Marine. Oh, who the hell do I think I am? And there's a lot of them, but I can't stop it. I have no reason to, and I love this shit. Excuse me. My thing is, now that y'all know my experience, can someone tell me why I can't travel anymore? Oh. Yeah. Why I try, the giant face appears before me and wake up every time I try. See, Toker, you give me an idea. To say I understand how the human mind works is an insult. But to say I understand how my mind works, that's a different story. And so I become you, Hap. I'm gonna do it, right? I become Hap. Hap Toker 86, that's who I am. You say, when I try, the giant face appears before me and I wake up every time I try. I don't know you, right? This is off the top of my head. If I'm looking at something because of what I understand about the feelings and the human psychology of the brain, that means that what I'm looking at, I'm not willing to accept because I fear something, right? I don't fear anything anymore. I can look at you right in your face, right? You can punch me, you can shoot me. I don't care. I'm not afraid of death, right? And so that acceptance, and I'm not, once again, I don't know what area this is, but what I do understand is that if I'm not looking at something as Kyle Marquise Wilson, it's because of something I fear, right? And so when I start seeing things and I start getting clearer and clear precision and clear vision, it's not because of the highs or lows. It's because of where I'm sitting at in that position, and I know nothing's going to hurt me. I know that I can control me. I know how to protect myself mentally and physically, regardless of what's supposed to happen to me. I survived being raped as an infant. I survived being raped as a 5-year-old. I've survived some dark stuff. So if anything was going to happen to me, it would have happened to me already. I've had freaking my heart restarted. Boy, that shit sucks, y'all. You are dead. If you've never had that stuff have you reaching for the stars or what you think is stars. And so if I am you and I see that in my mind's eye, I know automatically there's something outside of me that I fear more than inside of me. So I fear nothing inside of me. I fear nothing outside of me. Does that make sense? And then you said, my thing is now that y'all know my experience, can someone tell me why I can't travel no more? You can do whatever the fuck you want to. Why can't you travel no more? Because you said so. When I understood that I control all of this, there wasn't shit I couldn't do. You can't, okay, there's nothing you can tell me. And so somebody else had asked a question similar. It was kind of the same answer, but I was just like, I don't know. And I was like, I'm not doubting how I give mentorship or guidance or what have you. But where you're going, that is what's different with those who understand that language. Like, I don't know where you're going, but I can tell you how to get past it. Does that make sense? I can show you how to reach your goal. Like, I don't know what your goal is. Does that make sense? But I can only go as far as showing you what your goal is, depending on the fear inside of you. Person says, I have no fear, then shit. Then tell your brain to travel. It will do it. Irrefutable evidence. I got enough books and intelligence to prove to you. If you say I'm going to travel, then you'll travel. If you don't travel, then it's something that you're not willing to accept. You're now. As soon as you accept you're now, that you're not traveling, not that you can't travel, that you're not traveling, I bet you start traveling. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Why do I call people kings and queens? Because we actually are. When you think of when I think of kings and queens, from watching Kings and Queens, it was like always this team thing. Then I started to realize that you're kings and queens because of your lineage. Trace it all the way back. Go do ancestries.com, right? And then you start understanding that you're one. So you can pick yourself to be anything. I feel it necessary to identify people to be kings and queens, to raise their mind out of the current level of vision. This is not to say that your vision is bad. It's not to say that my vision is better. This is to express that this is how I see you. If I see you incorrectly, then by all means, Ruthie, how should I address you, my queen? Do you get it now? Right? I am when I see Dizzy, but I do remember the OG story of the mermaid with the matches. I don't remember that. Oh, I didn't think you didn't. I didn't think you didn't, Grace. Hey, Marilyn, thank you. Welcome to the party. Perhaps you're trying too hard. Maybe you need to embrace it. Yep. Remember, anything that's outside of you, you can't control. I'm able to be vulnerable. That's probably like my legit superpower, y'all. Like, I can be vulnerable. And people gonna judge me. Gonna say something. I can't worry about anybody's voice anymore. I'm gonna go do this. Yay. No. I just go where my intuition allows me to go. What if you run into troubles? And deal with it. But I don't look for it. Right at that midst of the trouble, somebody come and help you. Like, damn, I need a new friend. Look at this shit. When I try, the giant face appears before me and wake up every time I try. They're asleep, in a way, sleepwalking. I like that. Oh, that brings a different definition of sleepwalking. Huh. It's like consciously sleepwalking. My thing is now. I read that already. Did I go too far? It looked like the comments doubled itself up or something. Kyle, do you think coaching mentoring can be difficult for someone who isn't as spiritual as I am? No, Mistress, I don't. Not at all. Your pain is your educator. Your pain, an ounce of pain can change the world. You're the first person to touch a hot stove. You're like, shit, this hurts, right? You're, man, I'm bleeding bad. Let me go take care of this. And then somebody comes behind you. They're like, hey, I'm gonna touch that hot stove. You're like, hey, no, don't touch that hot stove. Shit gonna burn you. Now you know. Look at this. You're like, oh, that look bad. I'm glad you told me something. That is coaching. That is mentoring. That is wisdom. You use that, right? You use your experience of touching that hot ass stove, and shared your pain with others. If they respect it, right? At least they now have the knowledge. If they want to gain the experience and feel like that's not enough, by all means. But at least you are able to be vulnerable to show him, them, her, whoever, that this is what happened to me. I can't say that it's going to happen to you. But if you do get into that situation, hit me up. I've dealt with it before. I'll help you. Outside of that, good luck. That's all you got to do. Yeah, Mary, you see me. Yeah. Breathing has been this new thing to me. It's more than meditation. I'm learning that breathing, Satori, there's something in breathing, but it's not just the air. It's literally... You ever heard like your mind is a sponge? There's more to that. You breathe it. You don't just breathe in air through your nose. You breathe it through everything in your body. You can feel it. And I'm learning that when that happens, there are things that is going on in your mind, depending on what state and how much air is coming in, how fast it's coming in. So I'm currently experimenting with that. That's how I started with the whole looking in the mirror thing, because I was trying to tell you, man, I'm having fun now. Like, now that I know who I'm having fucking fun now. And so there's things that I'm learning, that your body is a playground. Boy, y'all not ready for this. Your body is a fucking playground. You're supposed to love yourself inside and out. Like, all of it. Infinity. Like breathing, inside and out. Thank you, Mary. See, welcome back. Survival was the life you chose. I did too. We have to outlive all outcomes via universe. I just watched a video of him presentation pigs with it. Knowing the human mind impossible, but my mind possible, because we have wavelengths. Yep. I feel the same feeling every time for every living being I see. Good, K-Dog. I like that type of language. Neuralink is Elon Musk. Neuralink is Elon Musk. I heard, so that's the second time I heard Neuralink. Somebody mentioned that to me. Listen, when I say Elon Musk gets the human mind. He gets his human mind. And so he'll sit there and tell you college. That's just saying that you have a capacity, right? But when I didn't know he taught himself all the stuff that he knows, I was like, oh yeah, we tripping. We tripping. All right, I ain't gonna go past 4. So we gonna do this. That's what's up. God, legit want to link up and share notes. What are the odds? The odds, I don't even like that word. Send me listen, for those, I'm telling, I get to people. I do. Life is interesting. There's people that want to talk to me. I be feeling important and shit. When I say I will get to you, I will get to you. I promise you. Like all the people that said that wrote cry, just trust me, my plan, it's coming. If you got questions, suggestions, books, ideas, you want to do collabs, trust me. Like that's it. That's just I am. So damn good there, Grace. All right, y'all. It's past 4:08. That's a good time. Let's do some meditation. For those who've been meditating with us, I hope y'all are also doing it on your own. But I will say this, if you're not, you're putting in a lot of time into your mental development. If you don't know this, if you've not, really put into, you're putting in a lot of time to your mental development, even with 10 minutes of meditation. The 10 minutes that we do here every night or every other night, 10 times 7, 70, 7 times 4, 28, right? And 280 minutes, like, what's that, 4 hours? That's a lot. For those who've never meditated before. And when you learn, like, the power to meditation, you teach your children. I have a friend that we taught her daughter how to meditate. And they were going through some things. And it was so dope. We ended up breaking up. And called her back on everything, and she was like, hey, her daughter was meditating. It was 5 years old. And I'm just like, yo, this shit is real. Like, this stuff, right? And was looking forward and still meditating in that time that was absence. And here we are, right? 10 minutes every night. We are healing ourselves and healing each other, right? So, as always, thank you. And I love you, Leon. I love you, Grace. I love you, Christy. I love you, Ellen. I love you, Gypsy. I love you, Thomas. I love you, Allie. Victoria. I love you, Coney. I love you, Lena. I love you, Tammy. I love you, Christine. I love you, Lori. I love you, Brown. I love you, Makeup. I love you, Ruthie. I love you, Nell. I love you. Who's this flower person? Moth. I love you. Caluxus. I love you. Dawn, I love you. Kalia, I love you. Mary, I love you. B, I love you. Douglas, I love you. Ah, man, one day I'm gonna do it every night. I don't give a shit. Jardy, I love you. Shane, I love you. Darlene, I love you. Alicia, I love you. Lovely, I love you. Gigi, I love you. Christian, I love you. Who else is in there? If I don't see your name, if you just checking it out, hey, appreciate you watching. I love you too. All right, here we go. I gotta get used to marketing myself. 101fiverr.com. If for emergencies, hit me on my DM. We do Cash App through that level. Got merch, got masks, got sweats, got hoodies now. Don't forget to ring the bell for the lives. And I love you. Oh, subscribe. For those who are coming in and haven't caught all the live, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as soon as we get off, I'm taking it, I've learned how to record properly and I just upload it. So, and that's doing good. I'm telling you, once again, y'all gave me that idea. It's all coming together. Excuse me, I am really stopped up. Because it's late / let's do here we go. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. March, we're gonna start doing 15. Why not? We're gonna get up to an hour. What time though?